What did you expect from us?
Thank you.
I mean, that's what we're going to.
That's what I need to
That's
hear.
what we're going to do.
Certainly
just
not
come
quality.
come in here and have fun and talk about just BS topics.
Play with the equipment.
Yeah, or it doesn't work, we'll go find another studio and they just won't edit it. Just do it raw and just don't edit it.
Peg Diaz says Mr. Licks needs to tie a cinder block around his neck and jump off the Musial Bridge. He is pathetic. That's from Peg Diaz.
Okay.
Great name.
Tune in today as we break
What do you
down whether Donald Trump should run in 2024 and what is Cheney going to do his votes, and that's coming up today.
Wow, Doug, look at this.
No, we don't. That's not us.
No.
We're going to talk about, I saw a couple of frogs having sex yesterday.
Then you're
The
on.
guy who
I
actually
don't know how
took
they have
the
sex.
first poop.
I saw a frog on top of another frog yesterday.
That's how.
Well, yeah,
Just
but
saw it.
never seen a penis on one of them.
I mean, I think
Can you get 15 minutes out of that?
it's a fun podcast.
No, we got things to do today. It'll probably be 10.
I got a podcast that's in the top 50 in every country on the planet.
That dude is
That'd be hard to
super
pull
hyped
off.
up about his awesome podcast.
Caller Ellen says Pepper and Genie is a car crash of a podcast, but I rarely miss it. There you go, an endorsement
Thank
from
you.
Caller Ellen.
Huh.
Thank you,
I think
Elsie.
that's.
Elsie.
I would accept
I
that as a
thoroughly
compliment.
enjoy it. I'm a big fan of Pepper and Genie.
It is a train wreck. We're not gonna poo-poo around that. Think we got some award-winning thing going on here.
Was it much different than this show?
Well, I guess what
we
similar
can't
about
cuss on
it,
the show.
no research, kind of give a take and die on a hill.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I like about the show. Because I can be wrong and not care.
Yeah.
Want
Just
us to
act
break
like I'm
down the
right.
Montgomery Bader trade today on the
Yeah.
Pepper and Genie?
Oh, no.
Please.
No.
Chili's and Texas Roadhouse, those are very underrated. See, again, like we do foodies, like we just have great fun for the family-ish topics.
You're
Well,
two of the most interesting men in the world.
Amen.
Thanks. We got some stories. Iggy's been around the block, banged 500 women, Hito. I mean, all that stuff is super exciting.
Would you boys be open to waiting on Mondays until like 11 and I can come in for the House of the Dragon breakdown?
That's up
I
to
really
Iggy.
like to
I'll
get
be-
involved with
I'll
that.
be here chilling.
I think that might be tough legislation to get through Congress, being real honest.
I'm good
Just
with
having
it.
a read on it.
For me, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I had if that wasn't we weren't gonna get bipartisan support there. Plowhawk has to be here.
Yeah, I'm chilling, man. I still got editing to do, so I'll be here. So anytime, Jackson, we can do a
Jack-
P&G Part 2.
Plowhawk, you weren't the problem.
Oh,
Iggy, how do you feel about
I was
sticking
really
around?
asking Ken.
For Jackson, I'll stay around.
Oh my God, Doug! Oh my God!
Quite a gesture.
Now, what if I have a sound story?
Well, I ain't staying that long.
Don't say ain't.
Why do you always say, yeah, I'll be here, Tim, for that. Don't worry. House of Dragons, House of the Dragons, sorry. Super excited. So,
And it's a story about the first C-section?
That's correct.
That's pretty much what the first episode was.
can you imagine watching an hour of it and then going to the director? I think it's just about a C-section, right? But it was really good. I agree with Iggy. She had huge feet. But I don't think that's the first thing I noticed during that scene.
Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert, is with us. Ryan, you know we always have a soft spot in our heart for the military. I know you have done a lot to help the military over the years. What can you do to help them buy a home?
Oh, you're not kidding. We definitely at thehomeloanexpert.com appreciate all of the sacrifices that our service members have made over the years and continue to make to protect our freedoms and so we can live in this wonderful country that we have. And that's why we created the Hero Loan. You know, if you have served in the military or one of your family members has served, you know about the VA loan, probably one of the best benefits of being in the military. The idea that you can buy a house legit with no money down. You can buy a house up to $2.5 million at the Home Loan Expert for no money down using your VA benefits. The problem in the past was there just wasn't a good lender doing VA loans. So they got a really nasty taste, you know, but that's all changed. We can close VA loans in as little as 14 days. Think about that when you're talking about a refinance or a home purchase. Get the loan you deserve today by visiting HeroLoan.com, the only way to VA.
Okay.
Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie.
And now the Pepper and Genie Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Stroh. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepper and Genie.
Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at TMASTL.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. whatever.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with a great TMA sponsor, and that is Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. And you may hear a bunch of out-of-state law firms advertising here and there all over on billboards and so on and so forth. But the thing is, oftentimes their goal is to just settle and move on, and that's not what you guys do.
Yeah, this is CD Longo, and you hear us talking a lot about maximizing the value of cases, but what does that actually mean? Well, as Tim said, there's lots of personal injury lawyers in St. Louis, and everyone handles cases differently. We focus on getting the highest dollar amount for your injuries, not just getting a resolution quickly. We're constantly tracking all the settlements and verdicts in the area. This helps us advise our clients on whether a settlement offer is too low. And if the amount of compensation being offered is too low, we are happy to file lawsuits and proceed to trial to ensure our clients receive an amount that is fair. Visit our website or Google us at Longo Biggs Injury Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the Morning After STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, The Plowboy, and Action Jackson.
7:07 in St. Louis. You're listening to the Ryan Kelly Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios. Welcome, friends, to the Munganess St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota 7 o'clock hour. Timothy Michael McKernan, Douglas Selvin, Vaughn, Kenneth Iggy Strode, The Plowhawk, and Action Jackson with you. Doug, they're loaded for bear today. They wanted an emergency show. This is an emergency show.
Well, it should be. With
Thank
the
you.
Redbirds in a tailspin, Lord knows I'm not going to be much good to you. It's not after another loss. Was that 5 in a row? 8.5 out of first place?
That's right.
Last place ball club?
Oh, that's right.
We got a bad ball club. They got a bad ball club.
Their ball club's 20 games over 500.
They got good pitching. We got bad pitching.
They're 1-3 from getting a new manager.
Think about that, Doug.
Yeah, gosh. Something different every night.
What was it last night?
Another poor defensive play, right?
I didn't watch
Relay
it.
to the
What
plate that
happened?
got away. And, it was a double that I think should have scored 1 run, wound up scoring 2. And
I saw a GIF with this last night's game where Gorman tried to do the behind the back to second, and it rolled to like midway between first and second.
well, yeah, it was a tough play there.
It was
It
tough.
was going to be a hit. It's just kind of depressing to watch right now, isn't it?
Matt's had a scoreless outing.
There you go, Doug.
Yeah. He
Oh,
looks like a pretty good relief pitcher.
Great.
A pretty expensive 1 or 2 inning a week relief pitcher. But, it's got some value, I guess.
They keep losing, Doug.
They keep losing. That's the problem. They can't win a ball game.
Don't bode well for September.
I do think that loss last night will help them in September because it builds character is what it does. When you can string together 5 straight losses in June, it's going to help you down the stretch.
Texas is good, man.
Oh, yeah, good
That
ball
team
club.
is loaded.
Mm-hmm. We thought our club was loaded.
Well, I didn't necessarily think that, but they're actually a loaded bunch.
Oh. Well, when you just look at the names that the Cardinals put out there, you like them as much as position players anyway. You like them as much as the Rangers, don't you?
Look, second week of April, I was all on this offense. I was jacked up about it. So I was there with you, Doug.
Walker hit a bomb. Arenado looked like he kind of got it figured out, although it didn't tap back to the pitcher twice in a row. I don't know. It just doesn't look very good. It just doesn't look like they're going to snap out of it anytime soon.
See what the people say. Doug, this is the EDF Group text inbox.
All right.
Scissor Me Timbers. Most regretted college majors. Oh, it's a Gallup poll.
Okay.
Percentage of graduates would pick a different major if they could.
Are we supposed to guess the number?
Yeah, it just was sent in
I'll
by
say
Scissor Me Timbers.
50%?
I would say touch under. I'd go 40%.
I must have said this really poorly. No, the guessing game is the actual major.
I'm sure they'll say journalism since that's...
Were you looking at my computer?
It has to be journalism, though. There's no other answer to that.
87%.
The journalism. Well, it was easy.
87%.
It was easy.
That's actually really funny.
Well, who could possibly, in 10 years go, thank God?
No.
Real honestly.
But how many of those
Especially
87%
now.
actually went to journalism school?
Well, that's what the poll is, though, what their degrees are.
Yeah, I guarantee 87% of our listeners didn't go to journalism school.
This is from CNBC.
Oh, I thought it was from the text inbox.
No.
That would be an even funnier poll.
Journalism, 87%. Sociology, 72%. General studies, 72%. Communications. Doug, I feel like there's a little Venn diagram overlap there.
Feels like it.
64%. Education, that's an unfortunate answer, but probably understandable considering comp. 61%. Marketing, management, and research, 60%. Medical/clinical assisting, 58%. Poli-sci, 56%. Biology, 52%. English language and literature, 52%.
Literature? What are you going to do with that?
Well, I'm
Run a
thinking
Post a show on
library?
HD2.
in general studies, like the boiled food of the.
I think so. That's get a degree. Do whatever to get a degree.
Those numbers don't add up. I mean, if it's 87%, shouldn't there only be 13% left to vote?
They're probably going by major. You had a journalism degree. They took 100 people with journalism degrees.
And 87, yeah.
And you know how to do a Gallup poll.
Regret they did that.
Oh, okay.
87%.
That's amazing. That 87%.
That's
though.
hilarious.
Like that's the right answer, but it's surprising that many people acknowledge it.
When I got into it, we were just coming off Watergate and how journalism kind of affected the history of the country, and the job still paid pretty well. It was kind of a decent thing to do. But now that the news business is kind of falling apart, at least from
what do you mean by that?
From a business standpoint, it
Name
has,
me
for
80
sure.
examples of this.
Newspapers going out of business and TV stations slashing their salaries and size of the staffs that they have. It's happening all over.
These are just 87% of people that couldn't get jobs. Good jobs.
There have been some great players
this guy.
that have come through this ballpark.
This is one of the 13. that
Yeah, you have
said they love
13%.
it.
100% of them got in, think they're going to be the next Dan Rather or Tom Brokaw or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they end up doing a weekend live shot from a tornado.
In Minot, North Dakota.
Well, the problem is, and this, I guess, is understandable for why TV outlets that cover sports do this, is a lot of former athletes just don't even have to do anything, and they turn their $1 million career into another $1 million career. So the people that are coming up thinking they're going to get big-time TV jobs, I mean, 60% of them are slashed right there at the top because it's all for former athletes.
Right. And in TV,
And I get it,
In
but
TV,
it's
there's
just-
some beautiful women, the same, that go right to the front of the list.
That's a 20 or 30%. So there's that small margin of, getting into the big boys and making that six-figure plus and having that notoriety. It doesn't always happen.
Well, for what we do, and for a lot of journalism jobs now, you could have any degree and do it. As long as you can kind of type quickly. If you can write a sentence and type quickly, and in radio and TV, if you have a little bit of a personality and can work under some pressure, with any degree, you could do this.
We could do a Gallup poll here at Hubbard and see how many on-air talents went to journalism school, even obviously the behind the scenes, and do a Gallup poll of, percentage of people here that went to journalism.
I've often thought I could have stopped at about 8th grade for what my education provided me.
Brian Henson says, I don't know, Tim, this is a pretty fun time, especially as a sports reporter. Everybody's striking. We've withdrawn our bylines. It's a whole thing. Hey, speaking of holes, shouts to that weirdo on the fan pin who thought he was funny by misspelling hole. It wasn't funny after the first time, dog. It's from Brian Henson. Doug, what is he talking about?
I don't know.
I had some moderation responsibilities
already?
early this morning. I don't see this. I see a picture of Heidi Klum and her daughter.
Yeah,
Who her daughter's at?
that was a little controversial.
Is that what Brian Henson's talking about?
Is there a hole in that?
Could have been.
No, somebody starts their
What kind of a
sentence
question
with
was that?
Well, you
instead
brought
of
up the question about a hole, and you got two girls there. Maybe it's in that thread.
it's like the sentence a whole lot of people. But he starts it out with whole.
There's the Three Stooges, Doug. See that?
I saw
Somebody
that.
created
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
I don't know. Brian Henson, please be more specific.
Come on, Henshin. I didn't hear
Firing
that they got
Marmol.
rid of bylines for newspaper writers. Did they? Is that a thing?
I don't know. Just when he writes about high school girls lacrosse, does he not put his name on it?
Maybe they just don't want his name on the byline.
Somebody has, this is a Gallup poll that I created on, Doug, February 22nd. The question was, the Cardinal win total has been set at 88.5. What you got? and 55% of the patrons voted over 88.5, and 328 people voted. I don't know why that is. That's from February 22nd. Somebody must have bumped the thread.
Yeah, bumped it because of what they're doing now. They wanted to see what the poll was back then.
Stop your thread bumping.
To get to 90, I think it's 65 and 35.
That would be the math, I believe,
Yeah,
Plowhawk,
could happen.
because there are exactly 100 games.
Well,
Could
if we can
happen.
just get
That's a-
hot, we can win this baby.
That's a run.
Yeah.
I mean, 90 gonna have to probably be it, right, for the division.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Oof. Under
A
85.
90-win National League Central team is, boy, I'll tell you, 88.5 would be my over. No, I might go 87.5 as an over-under for the National League Central. The American League Central is also a beauty. Doug, if you're interested in competing with me and we can find 7 other people and field a team, the Twins are 31-30, and that is good enough for a 3.5 game lead in the
Ain't bad.
American League Central. The Boston Red Sox are 31-30, and they're 12 games out of first place.
Well, sucks to be them. Yeah.
Brian Henson with a follow-up. We are withdrawing our bylines as a guild action to try and pressure our parent company ahead of contract negotiations. A number of other papers went on strike earlier this week. That's from Brian Henson.
So why will the ownership care that you withdraw your byline? You mean you withdraw your story or just your name at the top of the story?
Call in Brian Henson,
What's the point? You wrote the article.
636-900-4 TMA.
You're going to make a stance. Don't write. You still have a contract.
I have a feeling the ownership could care less whether your name's on there.
Probably not. As long as the article's out, we don't care what your name is.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bold move, Cotton.
You're welcome to get involved in the program. Many friends of the Feather are by texting in, EDF Group text inbox, by calling in 636-9004-TMA and emailing in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Beautiful weather, Plowhawk. We were talking about it before the show. And it is choice. Although, Iggy, I don't know what the situation is. Storms in the forecast, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a little shower or two today.
No,
It's
we
going to
need
be
that.
nice, though.
No. We need some of that.
Yeah, it's not going to be an all-day
Supposed to play a
downpour,
match
but-
today.
Oh.
But it's 80 degrees today, so the heat's down a little bit, but then it comes back. But a little bit of rain today.
Well, if you're having air conditioning issues, make sure you work with the great Seth Goldcamp, who I believe is going to be in here today. Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. Recording some new spots, the great Seth Goldcamp.
Wonderful.
I saw a truck today, and I gave it like a little thumbs up when I drove by it.
Nice.
Didn't know who I was, but
That had to make him feel good.
I thought maybe it might have been Seth or something. He didn't know who I
Well.
was. But.
DesignAirService.com. Just click book now, and they'll be out there quick, fast, in a hurry. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, the official HVAC provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Jackson, how does a QFTA tomorrow sound?
Sounds good.
I've got a sound story after today's award-winning balloon party. And then, Doug, I'm supposed to have a match today, but Iggy's telling me we might have showers, and that is going to be problematic.
You'll get it in, but just bring an umbrella and make sure your cover's on your clubs. A lot of people don't do that, and then they wonder why when they swing, their club goes flying because they're soaking wet.
But as a caddy, you know all too well how important
That's the
that is.
worst time for a caddy, man, when it's raining. Well, you got to keep your player dry. You got to keep the clubs dry. Got to try to keep the towels dry. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Why doesn't, like, the little stands that go into your bag and are umbrellas? You know what I'm saying? You've seen those,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Why is it too... I mean, is it tacky to do that for the PGA Tour? So I feel like they only have one umbrella, and if you're trying to keep your player
Usually the caddy's
and
carrying
clubs-
it, and the player's walking under it, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right on that, Nurse?
Yeah, but some players don't care about their caddy. They just walk ahead with their umbrella, and the caddy gets wet.
Yeah, that I see that more often than not, where the caddy just getting pelted.
Mm-hmm. Well, he had it coming.
Yeah.
Can he carry 2 umbrellas?
That's what I
One
was
for the
just
player,
about
one
to
for the-
ask.
How
Double
hard is that?
shoot? Double shoot?
Maybe they don't have the money to get a second umbrella.
Work on your umbrella holding at Family Golf. Doug, I was at that par 3 2 days ago with my son. Wonderful time. Great golf course to learn on. That is for certain. And a wonderful double-decker golf range practice facility. Short game. Did you wind up going there on Monday?
I did not. It was 50-50, and the 50 was no.
The 50 was no.
Oh.
50 was no
Okay.
came in. The short game area, putting green, great instructors there. Indoor simulators, bar and grill, perfect to host events, birthday parties, graduation parties. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, a premier golfing facility for all abilities and ages. provides a friendly and encouraging practice experience for the individual or the family. They have monthly clinics, adult clinics, summer camps. You can sign up for those right now if you have children who are interested in learning the game or just improving their game. It's Family Golf and Learning Center. Really good people there. Enjoy every time I walk in there. FamilyGolfOnline.com. Learn, practice, play your best golf. It's the Munganast, St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. Munganast is online at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. 314-252-0029 is how you can text in or call Jamie Burkhardt, Clayton Patterson, or Peter Munganast and work with the best. And even if you didn't get your car from Munganast, get it serviced at Munganast, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. But you can go shopping right now for pre-owned vehicles and new vehicles just by going to stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. It's Munganast, the sponsor of our 7 o'clock hour and also the sponsor of the Daily Fantasy Sports Showdown. And what a tournament they will have at the RBC this weekend in Toronto, Ontario, Doug. Oh, dear God, the last 22 hours in the world of golf. Plowhawk, you're loaded for bear. Here we go. Let's start with some audio. Here is Jay Monahan, PGA Tour self-appointed CEO. Didn't Alexander Haig do that?
He announced himself president. Yeah.
Is what his title is
He was
now.
only Secretary of Defense.
Saudi Arabia, Bobo.
I think it was when Reagan got shot.
Right. Well, what happened to the vice president?
He said, I am now in charge. No, you're not. You're not in charge.
What happened to Mondale? No, this was,
Well, he was a
Reagan.
Democrat.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this was then what happened to George H.W. Bush?
He would have been in charge.
Well, what happened? How come he got usurped?
He didn't feel like he needed to say anything. He figured everyone kind of understood.
Made an under-table deal.
Yeah. But Alexander Haig said, I am now in charge.
Here is Jay Monahan on CNBC announcing the merger that apparently only 2 other people knew about.
You know, there's been a lot of tension in our sport over the last couple of years. But what we're talking about today is coming together to unify the game of golf and to do so under one umbrella. And David, the way that we're doing that is we're creating a for-profit LLC that the PIF is going to invest in alongside the DP World Tour. And together, we're going to move forward and we're going to take efforts to grow and expand this great game and to take it to new heights. And so what's happened today, and to your earlier question, is we've recognized that together we can have a far greater impact on this game than we can working apart. And I give Yasser great credit for coming to the table, coming to the discussions with an open heart and an open mind. We did the same, and the game of golf is better for what we've done here today.
Doug, there it is. It's a wonderful win for everybody, and once again, we're growing the game.
What a snake,
Well,
man.
it's not growing the game.
I'm
They're
so
just
tired.
getting richer.
I am so tired of hearing growing the game.
Me too.
You heard it from all the live players. We just want to grow the game.
But they are growing.
How much more can you grow the game?
growing
You
the
can't get
game.
on a course
These
now.
players
Make
are
it
already
cheaper.
playing.
That's what you do with public courses, not to make the purses $20 to $30 million for a player that don't need it.
What he means to
How's
say
that
is
growing the game?
we're growing our pocketbooks.
Yeah.
We're growing our bank accounts.
Yeah. Now, back when they had the PGA, the China PGA in China, they went over to China, and a lot of people.
Stop saying China!
Well, that's where they went.
But you said it 3 times in one sentence.
It was, I didn't know what it was called. The PGA China Tour, China PGA, whatever.
That's enough China talk.
But a lot of people.
David Bowie's China Girl.
But they did try to grow the game in China. They wanted to get that country more involved in golf, and
Which
that's why they
country?
did it. But now they're not growing the game. They're just doing it for money and to get out of the lawsuit, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. So I'm tired of the players who went over there. Well, we want to grow the game. Grow the game where?
Guys, that sounded like the Dan Marshall press conference.
It was
I do believe
that's
in it.
embarrassing what that was.
Now, Jay Monahan then went from New York City. It turns out Jay Delsing joined me right at the top of Balloon Party yesterday and said on Balloon Party that it turns out that interview that became the announcement for the LIV and PGA business deal, because it is not a merger. They're forming, Doug, what people would call NewCo, and they're going to determine the valuation of the PGA Tour. Then the private investment fund, which is Saudi Arabia, will then buy a piece of NewCo. So let's say, just for the sake of the discussion,
Okay.
that NewCo is valued at $10 billion. Saudi Arabia's private investment fund will buy, let's just say arbitrarily, 25% of it, because the PGA Tour will maintain a minimum of 51%. That means the PGA Tour will have a cash injection from the same place this time last year they were condemning and brought out the September 11th families to protest outside of the RBC Canada, which I believe was more tactical than it really was emotional.
Probably.
They will now have $2.5 billion injected into, do you call them their coffers?
I don't. I never say coffers.
What about China?
I'm tired of hearing China.
What about the China tour?
Look, that's enough China chatter.
Bowie's China girl.
Hey,
They wanted to grow the game in Asia, and they
Commercial's
did.
over.
They did.
in what country?
Korea,
Right.
Oh.
That's correct.
China. No, it was just I was hoping it was my fault. I was going to send Jackson the link. I was hoping we'd have some Christine Brennan
Well,
sound.
you're really focused on Christie. A lot of people are on Nicholson, Koepka, Brandel Chambly, Jay Monahan. You are targeting Christine Brennan. What was she saying yesterday?
Jordan with the iPad.
Well, it is Gary Payton, Michael.
She brought up 9/11 about 8 times in a 10-minute interview on CNN. And I hope these players now, and I hope Jay Monahan knows that they're just they're spitting on the 9/11 families, and go away, please.
So Jay Monahan flies from New York, where he taped the interview. So at that point, some people at CNBC were aware of it. Probably was put in by the producer as Jay Monahan interviews. Everybody just goes, okay, Jay Monahan, who's he? Don't care. We'll just scroll past it. Then it becomes one of the biggest stories. In the short term, I think, in the sports world, I actually think, and I'll get into this later at some point, whether it be here or on 101 ESPN, why I think it could be even bigger. And I heard Mike Tirico say this yesterday morning on the Golf Channel, and I'll get into why I think it could be even bigger than it may feel right now. And by the way, before I go into anything further, I thought what the Golf Channel did yesterday was as good of coverage as one could possibly hope for if you're into this story. Did anybody watch it?
I did. And I will say...
let me tell the audience what went on. I don't know if they took a commercial break.
Yeah, they went on forever.
It was nonstop. I had a sales call yesterday with the great Maggie Kozlowski of the 101 ESPN sales staff, and I was over there, and it was with a great sponsor of the program already, who is opening up this Illinois Rehab Center, which is an incredible thing, and you will probably start hearing about it more here on the show in the near term. And as they're giving me the tour, I was supposed to play my Fan Page Club Championship match yesterday, and it's 12:30, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get there on time, and I don't want to leave this, because it's one thing for a sponsor, and that's, of course, important. That's how we, live as far as our show goes. But what they're doing over there is unbelievable. And I don't know if you guys talked with this person. I'm not looking to use their name unless they want their name out there, about what they're doing and the supply and demand when it comes to people who are battling substance abuse. And I'm just like, I can't leave there early and go, I got to leave because I got to go play golf. So that would be wrong. So anyway, that's why I didn't play. So then I get done with the meeting, and I go back home and turn on the Golf Channel thinking, oh God, they're probably going to be replaying the memorial or something like that. And it was nonstop live coverage. I don't know until when. When I left my house at 6:30, I wound up going out and playing with my son last night. But when I left at 6:30, they were still going live. And I thought the coverage they had was absolutely incredible. You don't see stuff like that in sports broadcasting, because what they did was, I'm sure they left a lot of revenue on the table that they'll have to have make goods from the commercials, because they didn't run commercials. But it was necessary because this is a significant moment, not just for the game of golf, but I think if you go forward 5 years and you see the private investment, or the public investment fund, I apologize, that's what the Saudi Arabian government calls it, the public investment fund, i.e. PIF, start to buy American sports teams, and there are about 120 of them when you're including Major League Baseball, the NHL, the NBA, and the NFL. This will be the moment in the United States that they will turn back to. I know a number of our audience members are fans of the EPL, the Premier League. That was a big deal when it started happening over there. And a lot of people had to come to terms with it, who are soccer fans in particular in the UK. And yesterday was the first day the Saudi Arabian government got to the table in the United States, and I believe, and this is what I was citing Mike Tirico was talking about yesterday on the Golf Channel, I feel like it kind of flew under the radar because people are focused on tweets, and I understand that that's entertaining more so than looking at a macroeconomic element of this discussion, that this could be the beginning of the Saudi Arabian government starting to own American sports teams. They just got to a massive amount of commerce in the United States. They're at the table now. And this is how you can get in the door. And they already did it in the UK and the EPL. So keep an eye on this element of the discussion. So I thought the Golf Channel's coverage yesterday was outstanding. So at about 3 o'clock, I was texting with Adam Long, Chris Nagel, Jay Delsing yesterday morning, actually. Delsing comes on the show. Adam says, I have no idea. I just learned about it on Twitter just like you did. He is playing in the RBC in Canada, in Toronto. And he said, we're supposed to have a call with Monahan at 4 Eastern. Monahan flies from New York City to Toronto to meet with the players. I'm not familiar with this guy. He had a wonderful mustache if you were watching on Golf Channel.
Raleigh Fingers?
No, but similar. Johnson Wagner, is that his name?
Yeah, he used to play on tour. Now I think he works for the Golf Channel.
Okay, is that what it is? All right, he's the 7th alternate for the event. It's not a great field, even though Rory's the defending champion. And so because he was an alternate, not in the field, he's not in the meeting. They didn't open up the meeting to a Zoom. It was just Monahan at the country club talking to the players. Somebody, one of his buddies on tour, sets him up on speakerphone so he can hear what's going on. He gets done with the meeting, pops back up in the Golf Channel and goes, 90% of the guys were against what Monahan was saying. People were standing up and calling for him to resign and calling him a hypocrite and asking, why should we trust you? Jay Monahan then goes from this thing where he gets his ass lit up by the players and then speaks with the media. Here is what he had to say on people calling him a hypocrite.
Hit the lever, Plowsy. Hit the lever, Plowsy.
I recognize everything that I've said in the past and in my prior positions. I recognize that people are going to call me a hypocrite. And anytime I've said anything, I said it with the information I had at that moment. And I said it based on someone that's trying to compete for the PGA Tour and our players. And so I accept those criticisms. But circumstances do change, and I think that, in looking at the big picture and looking at it this way, that's what got us to this point.
Jay Monahan on being accused of being a hypocrite.
He will never take himself and blame himself. He's blaming people that gave him the information, pretty much.
He probably got a boatload of money himself.
Uninformed about
the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
You
self-appointed. Alexander Haig, Doug said...
I am in charge.
But you can't literally go on camera and in interviews a year ago and literally say that these are terrorists, they're murderers, and if you get in bed with them, I don't want anything to do with you. And then a year later, you're making a deal with them, and all you have to say is, yeah, just the information I had at the time. That, to me, is that clip's disgusting. He is a terrible person. I hope he has no affiliation in the next 4 to 6 months with the golf organization.
I will say,
it's bad.
Excuse me, while watching the Golf Channel, I kind of agreed with a lot of the things Brandel Chambly said yesterday.
We have that audio if you'd like to. Here is Brandel Chambly's statement on the merger.
Well, like everyone else, when I first heard about it, I was completely shocked. I can't imagine that too many people outside of maybe the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people that were in the room that brought this merger to fruition would have known anything about it. After the shock sort of ebbed away, I was hugely disappointed. I think this is one of the saddest days in the history of professional golf. I do believe that the governing bodies, the entities, the professional entities have sacrificed their principles for profit. And then, of course, I tried to imagine what circumstances would have led to such a capitulation. I think there are 3 things likely that would have led to something like this, as Jody was just talking about previous. Intractable legal issues going on indefinitely into the future, no doubt with legal vulnerability on both sides of this issue. And the only people that stood to profit from that were the lawyers that were involved. And then, of course, I think, entanglement of the various business entities and sponsors that the PGA Tour has that have Saudi money, PIF money in them. And I think it became increasingly difficult for the PGA Tour to disentangle themselves from that scrutiny and from that criticism. And then, of course, the fact that there would be billions of dollars on the table for potentially the growth of the game globally at, I say, in the best case scenario. It could have been any one of those. It could have been a combination of all three of those. But at least in my view, those three issues were at play, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's what led to this merger.
That's Brandel Chambly yesterday on the Golf Channel. Iggy, you were saying you agreed with what he said.
100%.
What is it that you enjoyed there?
All three of those things. I mean, I think we brought it up yesterday. It was money. It was getting out of the lawsuit, and I don't think any of us talked about growing the game. But then later on, the inevitable question about, do you think Phil's going to come out and say, I told you so, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, look, this isn't about me, and it's not about Phil. It's not about any of us.
Yeah, he said that later on, and
Yeah.
he was asked about Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson gloating, and he goes, they're welcome to gloat, but it's not about me, and it's not about them.
Yeah, so I agree with that totally.
Okay. But that wasn't in that clip, right?
No, that was in that.
In that conversation
Yeah.
with Chambly and with, I think it was the guys back in the studio who were, like I said, in studio all day long. The coverage was so damn good. With regards to what Brandel Chambly's talking about, and I think the more, if you are reading about this, and I realize a lot of people won't have the opportunity to do so, so much of what I think transpired yesterday, if I'm trying to figure out how this happened and perhaps why only 3 people associated with the PGA Tour are aware of this. 3 people. 3 people. I mean, how often does something like that happen? It truly was Succession-esque, and I realize Succession is a hot button at the forefront of the mind of many in American culture right now, and hell, beyond the United States, because the show just ended 10 days ago. But there is that scene in which, Kieran Culkin's character and Jeremy Strong's character are essentially playing a role in deciding a presidential election in a conference room. And you go, God, could that happen? And then you go, well, might have happened before. And here we have 3 men. Jay Monahan, a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Dunn, who, for those of you who are not familiar with Jimmy Dunn, I believe Real Sports on HBO did a feature on him. And it was a positive feature on him. Are you familiar with Jimmy Dunn? I think you're probably the only person on the show who might.
Now I am, only because of the title he was given and what he did before that. But now he's a pretty popular, pretty powerful guy in this.
Very powerful guy. He was the, I believe, head of a firm that was in one of the World Trade Center buildings. And he was out playing golf the morning of September 11th at a qualifier, and many, if not all, of the people at his firm died in the attacks. And so then, going forward, he, I believe, has paid for the educations of all of their children. That's what I believe, if memory serves. I recall seeing this well before yesterday. I had no idea he was involved with this until yesterday. So it was a positive piece on Jimmy Dunn. He's now the president, and has been the president for a long time of Seminole in Jupiter. And I think he is, in some capacity, counsel of some kind for the PGA Tour, along with one other gentleman. I believe his name is Ed Hurley or Hurley. That was it. Monahan does not engage with the Saudi government, perhaps for plausible deniability. I think that's an important part of a lot of this. Like, why weren't the tour players? Why weren't the networks involved? They can always say they have plausible deniability to see if Yasser would come to the table. My understanding, and if I had to put a finger on why this took place yesterday, it's as, unfortunately, simple as this. The growing the game thing, of course, is a red herring. I think anybody at this point, I mean, if you really believe that, I can't imagine anybody listening to my voice right now really believes this is about growing the game. It's Teddy, KGB, and the Oreo. You automatically know you're about to be bluffed. Move on. The Saudi government and the antitrust suit, the Saudi government has billions, trillions of dollars, and they decided we are just going to bury the PGA Tour in this litigation, keep it going, to just run them to a point of they are losing so much money that they will have to welcome us to the table. It's not about live golf being better than PGA golf. If that's where you're coming from, then, God bless. The Live Tour did not succeed in the sense of the game of golf, but the Saudi government absolutely succeeded. And so that is what this was about. They actually bled the PGA Tour, not dry, but to the point where they're going, oh my God, this antitrust suit, we have some reason for being concerned. Skeletons in the closet, probably on both sides. And so therefore, it's in our best interests to make an agreement, still have control, but now Saudi Arabia, which could not get a real television deal, all due respect to the CW, wasn't profiting. Now they have a seat at the table. Now they will theoretically be on CBS. Now they will theoretically be on NBC. Now they will theoretically, again, I'm saying theoretically, if all of this goes through, and it isn't officially through yet, they will now have a seat at the table of one of the premier United States and North American sports leagues. And they weren't able to get that seat at the table with Live Golf. They were not running a profitable entity. I don't know if the goal was ever to run a profitable entity. They were just able to throw money at players that for them changed their worlds. But as far as running a profitable entity and getting a seat at the table, it wasn't enough because the United States network said no, with the exception of the CW. So their only strategy, which worked, was to go, we're just going to run your legal bills up so badly and get this antitrust suit, which I think did have teeth, to the table, and now we will be in the game. And that is how I believe it all took place. That is my theory on it. Thoughts? Concerns?
No, I agree 100%. And I don't know if Saudi Arabia had this in the back of their mind that, you know what, they couldn't make money with all the contracts they're giving out and the prize money. I mean, this thing can go on for 4 years. And
they could have kept doing it.
Yeah.
Because they have so much money. I mean, it's so tough for us to wrap our minds around how giving, what was reported to Hideki Matsuyama, who is, he's a Masters champion, but in the United States, is he even one of the top 20 players on the PGA Tour? No. But in Asia he is, because he's a Masters champion, giving him $1 billion. That's what Tiger was talking about getting. $1 billion. $1 billion. Why? Because the influence of having Hideki Matsuyama, a Japanese player who has won the Masters, that gives you an idea. So when they're talking about giving, $100 million to Dustin Johnson or to Brooks Koepka, it shows you that for them it's like, writing a check for $100. It's so tough for us to wrap our minds around that kind of liquidity, but that's what they have. So then think about the PGA Tour, and then think about the monster they are up against. And I'm not talking about from a moral standpoint, if one wants to get into that discussion. I'm talking about from a financial standpoint. And if the PGA Tour is going, look at these billable hours, we're never going to be able to outplay them because legally they're just going to bleed us dry. That is their strategy. And that's how they will, quote unquote, win. And so, whether Monahan sent Jimmy Dunn and Hurley to meet with them, or Dunn and Hurley on their own go, okay, we just got to do something. Otherwise, we're going to go out of business, which sounds crazy to think of the PGA Tour going out of business. Then we will sit down with Yasser and the Public Investment Fund and see if there is a way to get a deal done. Most importantly, more than anything, to end the litigation. And if we can, as opposed to losing money, now we're making money from the Public Investment Fund. And by the way, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying so it's right and this is good. I'm just trying to explain from my perspective, which I could be 100% wrong on, by the way, how this all transpired yesterday. Because as Monahan said, it's been worked on for the last 7 weeks. Why the last 7 weeks? And why only 3 people knowing about it? The TV networks didn't even know about it. So
and why does Saudi Arabia has such a huge interest in golf in general? It doesn't seem like a country where golf is a big thing. Why are they worried about sports washing now, 22 years after the event happened, when the United States has far greater enemies in China, Russia, Iran? Saudi Arabia is an ally of the United States. So we have military bases in Saudi Arabia.
You have 2 things that also, perhaps coincidentally, perhaps not, I don't know. The U.S. Secretary of State was in Riyadh yesterday, and over the last handful of days, Saudi Arabia has talked about reducing oil productivity. So that was leverage. And you're talking about things way bigger than, Brooks Koepka's tweets and Brandel Chambly's reaction. And I understand that's what most people, because that's the stuff that's titillating and that's what's going to engage people. I get all of that. But yes, you're exactly right. Does Saudi Arabia really care about golf? He was asked about that yesterday in that wonderful interview. In case you couldn't tell, he wasn't necessarily telling the truth, especially when he asked about Greg Norman's involvement. What his answer was on that. Now he stumbled around that, and I'm talking about Yasser, the chairman of the Public Investment Fund, and his boss is MBS. And so in Saudi Arabia, that it is, let's get to the table. Let's get to the table in the UK. How are we going to do that? The EPL. Let's get to the table in the United States with, quote, legitimate United States businesses. That's the PGA Tour. That's their corporate sponsors. That's their media outlets. And that is the game. And while it might seem ridiculous on the surface, that is the strategy. And yesterday, from my standpoint, the top-tier players in golf won, but the biggest winner was Saudi Arabia.
No, growing the game is the big thing.
That's exactly right.
And I'm not sure if they knew enough about what they were doing, but it wouldn't surprise me if when they whole started this thing, when Norman went to them, this was many years ago, it wasn't just the last 3 years, that, all right, it's going to cost us, what, $4 billion? We're probably going to lose money. We're not making any money on this. Then in the back of their mind said, but the players and Live Golf will sue because the PGA Tour is going to do this. They're going to probably take away their membership. They're not going to let them do this. They're not going to be points. There'll be a lawsuit. 3 years from now in that lawsuit, they will be losing so much money they'll have to come to us. I don't know if that was in the back
I don't know.
of their mind.
I don't know if they had that much. My understanding is they attempted to speak with Monahan 3 years ago. He wouldn't take their call. He wouldn't meet. The PGA Tour's strategy, and this is something we've talked about on the show, I don't know how long, at least a year for sure, because they brought out the 9/11 families last year, a year to the day. Well, not a year to the day, June 10th, damn near a year to the day. And I looked at that and I go, God, it struck me as gross because they were, from my standpoint, and now I think I would imagine a lot of people see it this way as well, but at the time I'm like, they're using them tactically. This is strategically. These people, understandably, even though at that time it was 21 years removed, will forever be emotionally distraught over what they witnessed that day and who they lost that day. And so, in my opinion, the PGA Tour was taking advantage of that, and still the scars that many Americans who were around for that have over September 11th, and we're using them to justify the condemnation of Live Golf because that was their only defense mechanism. And I thought that was pretty grotesque.
They used them as pawns.
100%. That's what I thought it was last year. And that was the whole thing. This is Saudi Arabia. This is Saudi Arabia. I'm going, well, a lot of American businesses are in business with Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Why is this? Because that's all they had. They wanted to maintain their monopoly on golf. And that was Jay Monahan's strategy. And so, and I say Jay Monahan, I don't think Jay Monahan is sitting in a kingdom, in a castle, in a room by himself. There are other people, but he is the face of it. But when it was all said and done, there were only two other guys who made this deal. And so this is how Saudi Arabia eventually won, because that's all the PGA Tour had from a defense mechanism. This Cal May protege writes, and this ties it into the soccer thing. Boys, Tim is exactly right, parentheses, of course. There you go. The Qataris did that to FIFA and UEFA when they tried to hit, Doug, how do you pronounce this? Now, my Americanized version would be Paris Saint-Germain, but my guess is it
Paris Saint-Germain.
Thank you, Jackson.
Jackson.
baby.
This
the
guy
PFG
is
was a
worldly.
rap group. He is. With fair play violations for spending too much on players. They tied it up in the courts until UEFA and FIFA could not afford to pursue punishment. That's from the Cal May protege. So if indeed they saw, okay, that's the strategy, then that is how we will beat them. I don't know. I don't know if they were thinking years down the road that this is how we will win. I don't know.
They had something in mind because you just don't start throwing billions of dollars at a league that, maybe we'll get a small little contract for a TV station. We'll just put it on YouTube. We'll stream it, charge $2. We'll get our $8 billion back. That can't be what they thought. There had to be some other ulterior motive to put this together.
Doug, they are trying to diversify themselves away being a nation dependent on oil. Saudis are actually worth trillions versus the richest person on Forbes listed at $250 billion. A few years back, they were going to do an IPO on Aramco, their oil company. They were going to take public only 10% of the company, and that 10% was worth more than Exxon and Chevron combined. Wow. The PGA was never winning a lawsuit. That's from Mario in Chicago, and if I'm not mistaken, he's either an attorney or in finance. I could be wrong, Mario, if you want to give your... But that's what I'm... It's like if you ever see like a picture of the sun, and then a picture of the galaxy, and then a picture of a star in the galaxy, and how the sun is like this tiny little dot in comparison to another star in the Milky Way, and you go, oh my God, this is blowing my mind. It's tough to comprehend the wealthiest person in the United States, Bezos, Gates, hell, I don't know who it is at this moment, Warren Buffett.
Musk, I think.
Oh, Elon Musk, okay.
I think he is.
And then his wealth being dwarfed by Saudi Arabia, but that's the situation, and imagine you're in litigation with
you're talking about individuals against countries. I mean, the United States has far more money than Saudi Arabia, much more money.
Sure,
but the United States is not interested in fighting individual companies in Saudi Arabia.
Well, the problem with this was Jay Monahan probably should have had some of this information readily available before going off on absolutely psychotic tangents that you can't backtrack. It's hard to go, well, I'm kind of just kidding when you're calling an organization terrorist groups and blood money and all of this sort of barbarians, whatever the case might be. Jay Monahan overplayed his hand with little information, which he should have had much more of. He should have known that this is a multi-billion, I mean, what the Saudis have is almost $1 trillion. You do realize that you're just going to get locked up in litigation like that. Isn't that obvious before you actually go to trial?
He may have known it, but what else was he going to do at the time?
You say no comment, or you just say you're going to handle these things internally. You don't go and say, hey, here's some 9/11 families. Oh, by the way, these people are all terrorists.
Yeah. Well, Tim brought it up that he's not sitting. Jay Monahan is not sitting in his house coming up with all this, and Jay even said it in his thing when he's called a hypocrite. He said, I was just going by the information I was given. So people are telling him what to say. But he is the face, so he's going to get blamed for it. But I'm sure he didn't come up with all that on his own.
And that's the nature of the beast. I was watching Jeff Ogilvy, who I haven't thought of since he won the U.S. Open.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah, he was the beneficiary of Mickelson's driver, right?
Yeah.
And Johnson Wagner. I think those were the only two guys who spoke yesterday. I don't know. Maybe you saw other people speak as far as players go.
At the meeting?
Afterwards.
Oh, afterwards.
Either way, point being, saying that Monahan, he goes, I wouldn't want to bid in his spot. To his credit, he just took it, but what else is he going to do? Because the players were screaming at him. And understandably, the players are frustrated that they didn't know. It's a member-run business, so the members are the players. And the players are going, we're in charge. What in the hell are you doing? So I don't think by any means Jay Monahan is honorable. I want to make that clear. I thought from the beginning the defense mechanism that they were using, which was Saudi money is dirty money in the September 11th families, I thought that was dirty. But I also think, number one, that he has so much information that the public doesn't have. And number two, I'm not really sure at this point, June of 2023, May of 2023, what else he could have done. But he made his bed, and the PGA Tour made their bed by taking the route that they took, which was our defense is if they go over there, they're anti-patriotic, they're anti-American. From Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff, if journalists and sports personalities continue to view this through the lens of sports and business, they will never resolve their cognitive dissonance. This is old school influence and political capital peddling, trying to use their money to advance their national interest and assert themselves as a new pole in Asia and Africa. That's from Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff.
A new pole?
A new pole. Doug, what does pole mean?
I'm not sure what he means in that. A new pole.
Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff, call in.
And I'm a little surprised that, well, maybe not surprised, that's probably why they did it. But you announce this and you go to the RBC Canadian Open to talk to players that 90% of them aren't even in the top 100 that are playing because there's no other good players playing this. That's how they get in. Who cares what these players say? They're basically not even on tour.
Well, he had to say something yesterday.
Yeah,
that's where more players were than anywhere else.
Yeah, but you can have a player meeting on Zoom and let your majority of your big players, who are probably the ones that got screwed by turning down $400, $500, $300 million to we're going to stay here and, we're behind the PGA Tour. And then you get screwed that these players go over there to live. They make their hundreds of millions, and now they can do whatever they want. Then come back on tour. Those are the players you need to talk to, and none of them were there. Rory was there, but I don't think he said anything at the meeting except tell Grayson Murray to play better.
Well, was it possible that they did put that on Zoom and anyone who wanted to watch it could?
No. Well, he could have, but he didn't.
Possible.
It was just there. If you're at the tournament, I'm going to speak at the tournament. I'll talk to the players at this tournament, which there were a bunch of nondescript guys, anywhere from 75 to 200 in the world over
like
there.
the fan page club championship.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Shishawali.
Actually, that's a Shishawali PGA Tour event.
And I still don't think we've heard.
They were very lucky that Rory McIlroy won it last year, but bad timing for Rory because he had to go play in it, and then he happened to be there. And then when Grayson Murray was complaining about the situation, Rory said, play better. Now, according to Wesley Bryant, who is also a tour player who is kind of on the outside looking in, he was playing in a U.S. Open qualifier at Pine Tree in Florida on Monday and lost in the sudden death playoff. I think he won the RBC Heritage in 2017. Those are his credentials, and he's also got a shot trick business on YouTube. He said they were both laughing afterwards and getting along, but initially it was tense when Rory said to Grayson Murray, if you don't like it, play better.
I think what ultimately will come from all this is everyone involved will make more money. And in a year, 2 years from now, everyone might be happy.
And then, but that's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now it normalizes that which these leagues were initially completely against,
Right.
and that is Saudi Arabia has a seat at the table in a, for lack of a better term, stealth way, and now that is what you have in the EPL, and that's what you have in the PGA Tour. And so going back to what Mike Tirico said yesterday in an interview, and I was driving over to this the sales meeting, so it was probably about 11:30, and just live streaming on my Bluetooth, the Golf Channel. Couldn't believe how great the coverage was. I still am in awe of what they did yesterday, just from a media standpoint, because I know that they left a lot of dollars on the table with advertising. And Mike Tirico said this is what people in the UK and fans of those EPL teams, and people are fans of those EPL teams all over the world. It isn't limited to Manchester and Liverpool. What they had to come to terms with, which is Saudi Arabia now is in. So what Mike Tirico was implying could be in the short term is we are a hell of a lot closer to Saudi Arabia and the Public Investment Fund owning American teams than we are to what is the utopian kind of Ted Lasso idealistic, all the fans will own the teams, like the Green Bay Packers. That isn't going to happen. What we're closer to is Saudi Arabia, which has so much money, it's difficult for Americans to comprehend, getting to the table by buying a piece of X, Y, Z, NBA, NHL team. And it might seem fantastic now, and I don't mean fantastic in a good way, but as in a fantasy right now, but that could be the next step. And eventually go, well, it's so much money, everybody's going to make more money, everybody will be happy. And that is, you're right, I think everybody will make more money, but it's going to be money coming from Saudi Arabia.
They'll get used to it, just like the NBA got used to money from China. China's got a big seat at the table in the NBA, and every now and then someone complains that what the GM at Houston complained, and he was summarily dispatched at that point. Where there's money, ultimately the people involved will say, okay, the money's more important than our ethics.
And for me, like, I look at, and you talk about the people who turned down, I mean, you brought up Hideki. I feel the most for a Will Zalatoris, man.
Goes back to Will Zalatoris.
To me, like, he turned down $130 million like 5 months ago, and he is now injury prone. He has back issues. He may never be half the person he once was. And literally just 6 months ago, he turned down $140 million. That he. So I get
sure he
that.
Still has millions.
No, and I get it. But to your point, everybody's going to make more money. Will Zalatoris won't make a quarter of $130 million in the rest of his career, and I think that's people like that will probably look at it and still go,
sports, there's
man.
always going to be people who get hurt and can't make the money they might otherwise have made. That's
yes,
part
but
of
you're
the
talking
deal.
about turning down 130 million, not seeing the potential of maybe making that.
I'm sure he's not alone. I'm sure there were others that were offered a boatload of money. He said, I don't think so.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I'm sorry.
Every player who was at that meeting in Delaware last year, and I know some people are like, what the hell's the meeting in Delaware? The meeting in Delaware was at the BMW Championship, which was held in Delaware, coincidentally, not because of how, that's where you start up a, business if you want to get VC. But it was in Delaware. Tiger flies up from Jupiter. I believe he and Rory headed up the meeting. They start this whole new thing with the designated events, elevated events that became designated events as a way to try to circle the wagons against LIV. That was less than a year ago. That was August of last year. And Tiger didn't know, Rory didn't know, all of the people who were at that meeting, all of the players were invited to be part of LIV. And for whatever reason, whether it be for moral reason or because they're like, okay, I can stay with the PGA Tour and make more money, and I'm going to pursue Masters because once I've got $50 million in the bank, what's another million mean to me? I don't give a damn. And so they stay, and those guys all had a chance to be in there, and they all said no. Whether, again, it was on moral high ground or because they were going to make so much money from the PGA Tour, it didn't really matter. Because it does get to a point where if it's like you got $50 million, what's another 10 really matter, which I realize is another thing that's tough to wrap your mind around, but that's where the world is for people who have that much money, unless you just are consumed with becoming a billionaire or have $500 million or whatever the hell the situation could be. Tiger Woods already a billionaire. So that happened in August. They circle the wagons. They totally changed the PGA Tour business model, but it was to the detriment of the players who Iggy was talking about, the guys who were kind of on the periphery. And many of whom happen to be playing in this event this week, which was why Jay Monahan had people yelling at him yesterday, because most of the people who are playing in the event are the players who are on the periphery, not the fat cats of the PGA
guys
Tour.
that weren't offered money by LIV and guys that don't play a lot of events because they can't get into them. I don't know why they're all bitching. I mean, if you get onto a tour, you're going to make more money now, but it really doesn't affect you because you're really nobody.
Tim, I have 3 years' experience in the Arab world. Their tribal societies literally have 100-year plans, waiting out the PGA for a few years, backed by trillions of dollars. The PGA was doomed to lose this battle once the Saudis were willing to engage. That is from the 314.
I think we said that.
Mario in Chicago does confirm that he is in the world of finance, and so that's where he is coming from with his observation, which was, Doug, they are trying to diversify themselves away from being so dependent on oil. Saudis are actually worth trillions versus the richest person on Forbes listed at $250 million. A few years back, they were going to do an IPO on Aramco, their oil company. They were going to take public only 10% of the company, and that 10% was worth more than Exxon and Chevron combined. The PGA was never going to win a lawsuit. That's Mario in Chicago. I know I read that earlier, but just to give you context.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we get most of our oil from Canada. I think we get about 500 barrels a day from Saudi Arabia.
We used to until they shut down the pipeline.
Yeah.
Okay, the Canadian pipeline.
And 500 barrels a day from Saudi Arabia, and I think Russia's third.
We used to get most of our country from our country.
Well,
until
used
they
to,
shut
yeah.
down the pipeline.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about
2 years ago.
all the oil we get from Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's still like 500,000 barrels a day. So, for people who say we have problems with Russia or problems with Saudi Arabia, especially I'll go back to Christine Brennan. If you got a problem with Saudi Arabia,
What the hell is it with Christine
I would
Brennan?
say to you, stop driving. Because if you're driving, basically
Doug, stop driving.
The problem with the oil industry in this country is we haven't built a new refinery since the 1970s. Refineries cost billions of dollars, and the oil companies are afraid to build new ones now because there's such a push to get rid of oil and go all electric cars. And so none of the U.S. companies want to say, sure, let's sink $5 billion into a new major refinery somewhere, so they don't build them. That's what's crippling the oil industry right now in the United States. That and the fact that the pipeline was shut down.
So the majority of our oil comes from Saudi Arabia. And Russia's right there, and Mexico.
Yeah. When it could come from here.
Good, yeah.
But we've decided we don't
But
want
it
to do
doesn't.
that. Yeah, because we've decided we don't want to do that. We're going to save the planet here. We don't care what happens around the rest of the planet, but we're going to save it here. That's how stupid this is.
Take a smoke break, Papa. The dads are talking right now. Doug, are we the dads?
I don't know. We're old enough to be grandfathers.
What did I say?
500 barrels. Oh, wait, 500,000 barrels. I don't know. That's from the 314. Doug, the pipeline still functions. They just declined to expand it. Read a book!
Yeah.
That's from Uncle Cucker. They're mad.
They shut down the building of the Keystone XL pipeline. Biden did that on his first day in office.
Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff, he's elaborating. Okay, so this is what he said, and then we're going, so I want to give context to this now. If journalists and sports personalities continue to view this through the lens of sports/business, they will never resolve their cognitive dissonance. This is old school influence and political capital peddling, trying to use their money to advance their national interest and assert themselves as a new pole in Asia and Africa. And he followed up by saying, after the Cold War, the U.S. was a monopolar country as the only superpower. We now live in a bipolar world with the United States and China. KSA wants to be the third pole, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. KSA. Also, Doug's comment's a perfect example. The NBA ownership and leadership did have to get used to having China at the table, but they are on their back foot all the time because they're playing a game of business, finance, and sports, all incredibly short-sighted things. China and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are playing the 100-year political game. That's from Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff. There's that explanation. Your thoughts are welcome. 314-881-TMA5. EDF Group text inbox. Engineer Design Facilities is moving forward as the EDF Group, the most experienced data center and critical facilities service provider in the St. Louis market. Check out their newly revamped website, theedfgroup.com, and take a look at each of the three divisions they have to offer. EDF Group, your one throat to choke for all your critical facilities, data center, commercial, fire alarm, and electrical and IT infrastructure needs. To contact the EDF Group, email fire@theedfgroup.com. Experience the EDF Group difference and learn more at the edfgroup.com. And if you are interested in a delicious treat, I would like to recommend to you Heavy Smoke. Oh, sweet mother of mercy, Doug. That's Chris Schaefer, who is a world champion barbecue wizard, and he is the owner of Heavy Smoke. Check it out if you have not, for perhaps for Father's Day. It would be wonderful. HeavySmokeBBQ.com, Decatur. Chris Schaefer competes almost every weekend around the country in the biggest barbecue competitions. Heavy Smoke's right off I-70 in St. Peter's at the Cave Springs exit on the outer road. Chris's barbecue, the most succulent, slow-cooked, perfect party in your mouth you've ever experienced. Homemade sides as well. He is a barbecue genius. HeavySmokeBBQ.com for all of your catering needs. Jackson, we haven't heard from you on this. What are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I mean, so much of it to me is like, it's crazy to think like Saudi Arabia wanted to get into the golf world. They wanted a seat at the table. So they realized they weren't going to get it immediately. So they built this live golf thing. And then a year and a half, 2 years later, they buy the entity that they basically won it all in the first place and did it by basically drowning them out with, I know you don't want to open your books and we want to make, we're just going to drown you in legal fees. And now that they have exactly what they want, and it's crazy. And yeah, I mean, they've done it with Newcastle United. They bought Newcastle United about a year and a half ago, and now Newcastle United just finished fourth in the Premier League and are going to go play in the Champions League. Like, this is their plan, and when you have essentially an endless amount of money, you can drown people in legal bills, and you can kind of do what you want because, this is where we're at. It's ruthless greed. That's the succession element of it, is whatever makes our shareholders the most amount of money and what puts more money in our pockets will ultimately win. And you can talk about morality, you can talk about being a hypocrite, but at the end of the day, it's money, and it's more money.
You wonder if they may try to do that with some other sport. I mean, what's to stop them from saying, let's start a hockey league? Conor McGregor, how'd you like $90 million to play hockey instead of the 10 or 11 you're making now?
Bedard, you mean?
You meant Conor McDavid, probably.
Conor McDavid, yeah. The top players, or the top players in the NBA. How about if you make $500 million a year?
That's what I'm talking about with Mike Tirico's comments yesterday, and I feel like that's kind of why yesterday, and I understand it. I mean, like I said, get your likes and crap with the, whatever memes and tweets and GIFs, and that's wonderful. But yesterday, from my stamp, the Plowhawk said it in the 9 o'clock hour yesterday that it was, what would you say, it was the biggest story or something along those lines? Oh, yeah,
for me, yeah.
And at first I was like, that's hyperbole, but I think perhaps, and maybe people won't cite June 6th, 2023, it'll fly under the radar, but as far as it being perhaps the first chapter of the book in the Saudi influence in American sports, it was yesterday in a significant way, I think. And I feel like that part of the story, and I understand because it's not titillating. You have to have some geopolitical awareness and what is going on and how this all came to be, that Saudi Arabia was able to take one of the most prominent American sports leagues and force it to its knees. That's not something that's going to play well on this show or 101 ESPN, and it's in a way, I suppose, it can be boring. It's a hell of a lot more amusing to have Brooks Koepka tweet out Brandel Chambly wellness check, and and the shade was dropped, and you can put that on the New York Post or TMZ, and that's what's going to get more attention. But that's great because from Saudi Arabia's standpoint, that's wonderful. That's the bright, shiny object. We'll just keep going in here the back door, and we'll get to the table. And if they are playing the long game, they're in the EPL, which is a monster in comparison to other leagues, including some in the United States. And now they're at the table on the PGA Tour. And if that's the long game, and if that's what the angle is, they were quite successful yesterday. And that is, to me, the story. But I also recognize that's a relatively boring story, and memes and GIFs are what gets most attention. Doug, Mr. Licks has been very critical of, and he's been sending, and Jackson hasn't been sending in emails left and right to that.
Stop it, Licks.
Big time.
Stop it, Licks.
Yeah, Mr. Licks.
What is it, Licks? Licks.
I have never felt so vindicated in my entire life.
What did you do that you feel vindicated?
What the hell are you vindicated about?
I need to call my doctor because I have been fully erect for 24 hours.
Oh.
Cut it off.
Is that it? That the end of the call?
No, I've got a lot to say on this
Well, say it quicker. Get the energy up a little bit.
I don't get how Americans can be so dumb.
Well, because we're poorly educated. We're like, what, 25th, 26th in the world in education now?
It should be lower, honestly.
Yes,
with
it
how
should, but it
dumb
isn't.
We are.
Yes, we are dumb.
Well, I don't... The point has been made, but, I mean...
Hit the hole, Lex. What are you talking about?
Poorly educated.
Yeah. Get your vindication.
People were hating on Liv, especially Iggy, saying...
What the hell are you talking about? I watch it every time they play. People think I'm stupid for watching Live Golf.
It's been 2 years. I don't get why do they keep sinking money into this? They're losing money. How can they keep doing this? They got to turn a profit, don't they? I mean,
no,
if
they don't
you
have
had
to.
That thought. Well, you thought that they did. I don't get why people think that the PIF cares about next quarter's earnings or the next 10 years. It's not even the next 100 years. I mean, they care about the next millennium, brother. Okay.
Don't say brother.
They probably
why
have
would you say brother right
They probably have made $20 million right when Mr. Licks got on. I mean, that's how that PIF is not ever going to lose money. So I don't know why people thought that either.
It's almost $1 trillion fund, and that's just one part of what they have, as Mario and a couple other people have said. I mean, they gave Bryson DeChambeau $125 million. That should be all you need to know about what they're doing.
Okay, is that it, brother?
Do you have any other points?
I like the call.
You want to point out something that we haven't talked about or we don't know?
I want to agree with Plowsy that this is the biggest sports story of our entire lifetime.
I don't know.
My lifetime in 34 years, not even close. There's not a close second. Right?
Name a bigger one, Doug.
The
Name a bigger one.
Miracle on Ice.
Come on.
Oh, my. You've got to be kidding me, dude.
That guy couldn't even play in the NHL.
That's right, and they beat the world's best team.
Yeah, boring. Next.
That's not boring.
Next. Rather watch the movie than the real life version.
Amen, Plowsy.
Thank you.
Well, you wouldn't have said that if you were around at the time.
That's true.
Tim, and I also need to say, I can't think of a better broadcaster to be listening to than Tim cover this. I want to thank you, Tim.
Put that off,
You were right. And you were right. You were right, Tim, because it was one reason. People are talking about, the PIF not wanting to open their books, they wouldn't have had to open their books. Randall Chambly leads the league in moronic statements. It wasn't about any of that. It was just about the antitrust lawsuit against the PGA. That's all it was.
We all
My
said
buddy
that, so
told me
what have you
yesterday,
added?
Logan Roy, money wins.
And you feel vindicated by all this?
I feel vindicated. Phil Mickelson needs to go down as the greatest sports figure in American history.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I don't know if I go that far, but he's
Over
definitely.
like Jackie Robinson or Michael Jordan or Babe Ruth, people like this?
No.
Yeah.
They don't even.
All
they
right,
don't-
cut his mic! Cut his mic! Put him down!
Yeah, he is the worst caller we've ever had.
I still think Mr. Fix is.
Oh, Fix, and it's not even close. There's not even.
I just don't know what the Mr. Fix angle ever was.
What are we going to do?
We were waiting for it.
What are we going to do if Saudi Arabia decides they want a seat at the table in HD2 radio?
Uh-oh.
And they start luring us
I'll
for
take
like
their money.
70 or 80 million apiece. We'd go like tomorrow, wouldn't we?
I'd go for it.
We'd all move to Riyadh
I'd go
tomorrow.
for 80 grand.
Negotiate.
I got to be honest with you. I need to know what the weather is in November
Hot.
through March.
Hot,
All right,
hot.
Then I'm in. That's all I'm looking to
Scorching-
save.
Scorching hot. They have sand. I have a brother-in-law who spent considerable time in Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
and
was it?
Was not thrilled.
He
Was
go to the
not
beach?
Thrilled. He did not go to the beach.
I hear it's a pony.
He said one thing they don't have is toilet paper.
Kind of headdresses.
They don't use toilet paper. They use their left hand. And the biggest insult there is if they try to, someone shakes your hand left-handed. That's as if to say, you're.
Right.
They don't still wipe their ass with their hand.
That's what he said. That's what they did. And they go on the floor. They have like a hole on the floor.
But how do you wash that smell off the hand? Even like
I don't
hand
know.
soap.
I guess they wash up afterwards, but he
Yeah,
said
but dude-
that's the way they did it when he was there in the 90s. I guess.
Everybody who's wiped their butt has had a finger slip.
Oh,
Clip that off.
Ah.
This call, like all this tryhards calls and incessant emails to you guys, he's Stockholm syndromed him into reading sucks, and there's no way this feeling of vindication trumps the feeling of relief for Licks when his father-in-law again agreed to pay off the credit card bill with the Bar Napoli charges. That's from Carlos Spicy Wiener, who may be going into the Hall of Fame. But I don't know.
He's one of those guys that thinks he was the only one that liked live golf.
He felt
I think
vindicated.
he's lying about me and Jackson. You hated it. You poo-pooed it. You hated it. I watch it every time it's on. Jackson's never said anything bad about Liv,
Oh,
but he
I think
wants
the team element is one of
But
the
he wants him
silliest
to
things
think
in
that
sports.
I'm the only one that stood up for Liv. I'm vindicated. I'm the only one that likes it.
Phil Mickelson, greatest sports figure of all time.
I gotta say, I'm gonna toot my own horn again. I was on this program when Liv started.
You feel vindicated?
No one liked it. I loved it.
Well, it's
And
not
I've
about
been
the
back
golf.
oh no, it wasn't at all. No, and I never thought that. I thought when they got
The
Cam
golf
Smith,
did not win. If
No.
somebody is operating on that premise, then that premise, I would tell them I disagree with it. Now, they're welcome to disagree with me, of course, but the money won. That's it.
Yeah,
But they
PGA
also-
Tour isn't doing this, saying, Liv has got a great product there. We want to be part of this.
Yeah, but what Liv did before the merger obviously was more money in players' pockets, more PGA Tour cards. So I think that's the aspect that I kind of saw. Like, you don't need a monopoly because they're never going to change anything if there's nobody trying to compete with you. The PGA would have never made any kind of changes.
That
so
is
that is what I like.
100% true. I couldn't agree more with that part. Yeah, they forced the PGA Tour into changing. And then, even with that, even after that meeting last August, the PGA Tour still had to take the knee to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Licks is awesome. He's second only to caller Adam. Doug, is that your caller rankings? You put Mr. Licks one, caller Adam two?
No, I don't put
That Mark
Licks
Hanna
one.
texted?
Biff is number
That was
one.
Cuck Knobloch.
Yeah, at the bottom.
Cuck Knobloch. Didn't Cuck Knobloch have a threesome or something? Doug, all of our listeners are having threesomes.
Well, he had a story.
Let's see. Iggy is the biggest winner here because now a DJ will be blasting Pitbull at Amen Corner. That's from caller Buzz, and he gets fingered.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about Liv.
You don't like Pitbull?
No, I don't like the music blasting because no matter where they are on the course, you're watching it, you can hear the music blasting. And, if you're going to play it at 18, fine, or wherever you play it, where you have the birdie barrage
What's
hole.
the point of the music? They want the golfers to dance or something?
Yeah, they play it on a tee box at one hole, It's kind of like the party hole. They try to make it like the.
Doug, do you have a party hole?
They try to make it like the Phoenix
I do.
Open, but they don't.
Every hole can be a party hole. If you think hard.
But they have
Amen.
music playing, and that's when. God, I forgot who it was a couple weeks ago. Had a hole in one, and just the whole
Chase
place.
Koepka.
The whole place was bombarded with beer bottles and cups all over the place.
The Kodak Black Super Gremlin was playing after it.
But it plays all the time, and no matter where they are on the course showing the coverage, you hear the music boom, 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 and it kind of takes away from the broadcast, actually. But yeah, can you imagine the PGA Tour? Tiger gets up to hit a shot, the U.S. Open in 2 years, and Pitbull singing.
Brando can't survive this, right? And I will actually agree 100% with Iggy. I did like what Brando Chambly said. At least he's not backing down. He's not putting his tail between his legs and just saying, yeah, I was wrong. He can't possibly be on the Golf Channel anymore, correct?
I wonder about that. I was listening to
Right.
that yesterday. I was driving back from the sales call, and he was on, and I'm like, oh my God, here he is. Because I don't know if he's tweeted or anything.
He hasn't tweeted,
He hasn't tweeted. And was talking about that situation. And I was thinking that exact same thing. And I ran into a friend of mine last night when I was out with my son, and he said, what about Brandel Chambly? Do you think that he'll have a job? And I go, that's a great question. That depends on if Saudi Arabian influence gets into the Golf Channel.
Yeah, PGA Tour doesn't own the Golf Channel.
Here's an update.
Yeah, I know that.
What do we have, Doug?
A friend sent me this about oil and petroleum from the government website. The United States, as Iggy said, does indeed have Canada as the #1 importer.
Iggy, what a huge win.
That's
for
a dub for Iggy.
Iggy, dunk on everybody right now.
Well, I don't throw out things I don't know about.
Well,
Put that on.
let's backtrack 10 seconds.
I will say another thing Chambly said
And
yesterday.
it's by a wide margin. As of 2021, 51% Canada, 5% Saudi Arabia, 8% Mexico, 8% Russia, 2% Congo.
And what is Saudi Arabia? 500,000 barrels? Something like that.
It's like a million barrels a day, maybe. It doesn't make that real clear.
What Brandel said, and the thing that the problem I have with people keep throwing out the 9/11 families, and you're spitting on the 9/11 families by taking their money. Well, first of all, these guys who are running Live Golf and the guys who are throwing their money, I've never seen their names brought up on a 9/11 that they were backing the Saudi Arabians who took down the buildings. I don't think their names were ever brought up. But I did like what he said, that if you're going to do this, you should talk to Saudi Arabia as far as, we'll do this, we'll merge with you guys, but you have to do this. You have to change your laws, the way you treat people, your human rights. And I agree with all of that. I don't think 9/11 comes into it, but their human rights is terrible. And they need to change some of the laws they have in Saudi Arabia. And you have the power to do that when you make this merge.
You going to tell that to China with the NBA?
I don't understand. What do you mean? That they have the power to tell Saudi Arabia?
Well,
on
they
human
could
rights?
say, look, we're going to go in business with you, but we need you to sit down, and you guys need to sit down and change some of these laws you have.
Now, that'll never happen.
Yeah, but
well,
I think
but at least he brought up the point. They had the chance to do that, sitting at a table saying, we want to be part of this, but we're not happy with your human rights over the past 50
And what do you think
years.
Saudi Arabia is going to say to that?
Well, they're either going to say yes or no, but his point was
What's it going to matter?
his point was you can at least try
Well, could
to
you
get
imagine
them
the
to
NBA
change.
saying that to China?
But the PGA has no power. Like, they're worth $1 trillion, a few trillion. If Saudi Arabia really wanted to, they could just create their own golf league, write blank checks to every PGA Tour player.
They did.
Write down I'm literally saying write down what number you want to come there, and they take the entire PGA entity and bring it over. That's how much money they have. So the PGA Tour, sadly, they don't have any influence in any of this anymore.
Now, I'm not saying Brandel Chambly said they can make a change, they can make them do it. But his point was at least bring up some of these things, some of these atrocities with human rights that are going on in your country. Bring it up. At least you have the platform now. Talk about some of these things. That's what he was saying. He's not saying we're not going to do it unless you change, but he had the chance to say that.
Who's going to be that guy that goes, I want to see the one guy who drew straws and goes in and talks to Saudi and go, look, let's talk about that.
We don't like your position.
Well,
Because it is true. It is.
I thought it was a good point.
No, I agree. I think just they have so much power that I would be terrified to go in there and talk to them about human rights things. There's they're too big to fail.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't agree with the 9/11 thing. I don't agree with these players should be ashamed of themselves for hurting the 9/11 families by taking the money. I don't agree with any of that. But the human rights is definitely.
But you would go for this HD2 thing that Saudi Arabia is plotting.
I would tell them, you need to treat your women better.
You would not. You'd say, "Where's the check?"
Get away.
Oh my God! Yeah, I couldn't run to the check fast enough.
Have freedom of speech. You don't dismember a media member because they don't like what you do and they speak up and you kill them.
We do that here. We don't actually kill them, but we don't have free speech here anymore. You write the wrong thing, you get canceled, you get fired. People don't like it.
Well, you don't get dismembered.
No.
And it goes on too often.
Yeah, how would you like to spit a scorching hot take and walk out of the office and see the piff just waiting for you?
Well, here you get the mob on the social media.
All right, come after me, Saudi Arabia. I don't like what you do in your country.
Look at that.
Stop. And I may go outside and get shot now, but I said what I have to say.
You're going to get shot over that comment right there?
Well, if you don't agree with Saudi Arabia in the media, you have a tendency to get killed.
I don't know about that. They had that one guy, right?
One's too many.
Well, it is. But, things
There's
have happened to people
many people
here, too.
over there who aren't in the media.
People disappear here, too, for shady
No, we're not
reasons.
talking about here. I'm talking about Saudi Arabia.
Okay, well, I'm talking about it happens all over the world.
Well, stop it here, too.
Yeah, but they should.
Whoever's doing it, stop. CIA? I don't know.
I
treat your people better.
We're not exactly completely clean.
You want to be part of this tour, treat your people better.
Is my point. Yeah, they have a horrible record on human rights, but we're not exactly clean here either.
We're not talking about here.
But you can't really.
Well, this country isn't great either, but
well, it's not perfect.
Everybody should change.
It might be great, but it's not perfect.
Doug, isn't that what Sylvester Stallone said at the end of Rocky IV?
I forget.
If I can change and you can change, then we all can change.
Yeah.
And he said that to a very receptive audience in the midst of the Cold War in Moscow, including a gentleman who was playing the role of Mikhail Gorbachev, the premier. What a wonderful moment that was. And that is what Iggy is saying.
I thought he just blurted out, Adrian.
No, that was Rocky.
Adrian.
Was that Rocky the first, or is that Rocky?
Well, that was one.
That was the first one.
I gotta be honest. Rocky is those movies are the Bill Russell of cinema. I'm sorry.
Overrated?
They're fine if you make one or two of them, but it's a disaster. It's on like Fast and the Furious style, where it's like the great-great-grandkid is like fighting one of his buddies who knew Apollo Creed.
Why would you drag Bill Russell into this?
I'm out on the Rocky thing, bro. The acting was absolutely a disaster. It's a disgrace that
But
they
was
call
it
him an
entertaining?
actor.
Was it entertaining?
Hell no.
You didn't think Rocky was entertaining?
The robot who brought the kid shakes is about the only thing that's entertaining in that entire series.
Somewhat became attractive to Paulie at one point. Did they develop a little relationship?
They were banging. Yeah, something
Doug, did you
happened.
get the sense that Paulie, his trainer, was banging the robot in Rocky IV?
It's in the extended cut.
I don't think I saw Rocky
from the
IV.
VHS.
I saw Rocky 1, and then I think I might have seen 2 or 3, whatever Drago was in.
Is it Drago or Drago? Drago?
I don't know.
You know, with Bridget Nielsen, who
if
sent.
he dies, he dies.
She sent Sylvester Stallone naked pictures of herself, and that's how they got together.
I haven't seen that part of the picture.
That was off screen.
Would not want to see
Yeah, she sent.
Yeah, I read that too.
She thought he was. She thought he was handsome, and she was just like a model. She sent him naked pictures, and I gotta meet this girl, and they got married. I think.
You're doing impressions.
But he was in 2 of her movies.
The movies were terrible.
He's still an
I'm dying on that
outstanding
hill, right there with the Bill Russell thing.
You ever see
dying on
pictures of him now? Sylvester Stallone's still an
Yeah,
outstanding.
he's in that. I think it's
Still
called
looks
Tulsa.
Tulsa.
Oh,
The new
yeah.
TV show.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, his daughters are gorgeous.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
What are the Expendables 8 going to come out too?
Okay.
And he's going to have another role as.
And what did Bill Russell have to do with any of this?
I'm saying that's like people said that's my worst take, and I know there's a lot of Rocky fans that listen, and I may top that Bill Russell take. Rocky is trash and it's overrated.
No, I'm with you, Plausi. I mean, when you
No,
get when you get to the
Rocky
point
is
when
trash
and overrated.
The
Doug, you
first
forgot
one
that
was
part.
trash.
Burgess Meredith's great grandkid is now the trainer, and it's just I don't even know who Creed is. Who is it? Apollo Creed's kid who's now
Michael
fighting?
B. Jordan.
Yeah, is that who he's supposed
Is
to
that
be?
his nephew?
I don't know.
Yes.
Rock. Didn't he have any kids? Couldn't his kids fight?
Yes, he had kids.
It's a business. They're trying to make money.
My
They got a
Creed
movie that they
12.
can make more.
Creed's son's daughter is going to get into the ring with Bridget Nielsen's great granddaughter.
Creed movies
I mean,
are
you're
sick.
running out of people to put in these things.
Creed movies are so good.
See, I saw the
You guys
first.
are way off.
No, I saw the first Creed and it was good. I'm talking about the Rock. I'm just saying I don't like when movies go into series of like 10 or 11 movies. I'm talking about the original Rocky movies.
What about Star Wars?
The first one, and Star Wars, Disney ruined that a long time.
Oh.
But in Rocky 1, what really got me off to a rough start was when Rocky met his female at like a pet store. Was that it? Like
Talia Shire.
Met his female.
It was so.
Met his future wife.
Yeah, I guess if you want to call it a future wife. But like, it was so awkward. There was
influences already.
There was
Sounds like
zero
they were sniffing around each other's.
Zero chemistry. It was so forced. The dialogue was just. It was nails on a chalkboard. I'm like, these people are in love. They look like they barely
she played
know each
Connie
other.
in Godfather.
It was awkwardly embarrassing.
Mike,
Those
we want to book
entire-
the yacht.
Ugh.
Francis Ford
You
Coppola's
don't
sister.
even know this man.
Was it really?
Yeah, Talia Shire's.
Damn, I did not know.
Gentlemen, I want to make sure I heard this correct. A guy who once broiled his life savings of a couple $100 is going to be talking negotiation strategy with a group worth trillions in Saudi Arabia. It's truly the content you won't get anywhere else. That's from Al in Dadeville. That's our leverage.
That's true.
Yeah.
This
They
is
don't
all
listen, it's their
natural.
fault.
But Rocky was playing. That was the whole role was a street thug who wasn't very cultured, and so if he came across that way in the movie, then that's
Yeah,
what they
but
were
she
looking
was
for.
at
heavy for a local bookmaker.
He was.
But she was about as uncultured as him.
She was a wallflower.
Like she was like paint chip on a wall, like style of blasé,
But somehow
boring,
it worked.
on camera. Just
She was very shy,
I can't do it. I just didn't. There was zero chemistry. The entire movie forced that relationship together. Those two are not a match.
Oh,
Best
not.
Picture winner.
Well,
1976, 77. Is my nurse in?
I think it's the
So is
77
Crash.
Oscars
It's that
came
old,
out.
and
So is Crash, and I
people
don't
are
like that movie
Still
either.
talking about it.
Fair.
It's almost 50 years old, and people are still referring
Yeah,
to it. And
it's
talking about it. They
sad.
built statues
Th-
from it.
and it's more sad that there's a statue of a guy that had terrible movies made about him.
Oh,
Not just me, man.
Good morning. We finally got to the big story in sports by 8:30. A boxing movie from 40 plus years ago. That's from Mario, and he's in Chicago.
yeah.
Way to put a bow on it. And I think this is a good way to put the.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to end our 7 o'clock hour. It's 8:32. It's the Munganess 7 o'clock hour. We'll come back with our 8 o'clock hour. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
TMA wants to send you to Evolution Festival, a new elevated music festival experience coming to Forest Park August 26th and 27th, featuring the Black Keys and the Black Crows, plus Brandy Carlisle and Harper and the Innocent Criminals, Brittany Howard, Ice Cube, Morgan Wade, and more. This is our town. This is our time. This is our evolution. Tickets for this elevated bourbon and barbecue experience over 2 days in Forest Park are on sale now, but you can win your way in on the TMA app. If you don't have it, find out how to get it at TMASTL.com. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
Hello, it's Jackson for Rosalita's. TMA listeners know that Rosalita's Cantina has the best patio and the best Tex-Mex in town. From tableside guac to piled high nachos, the amazing menu at Rosalita's is full of classic Mexican dishes. Plus, it's always time for a margarita, and Rosalita's has the most delicious house and specialty margs in town. Enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 6, and let Rosalita's cater your next event. Check out rosalitascantina.com or visit the downtown or DePere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalita's.
The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com.
Oh, hey, this is Tom from Salt and Smoke. And oh, hey, barbecue. Look, I'll shoot you straight. Times are tough. Our daubers are down. Could you maybe help a guy out and buy a sandwich? Or maybe throw a party for your neighbors and let us cater it? Really, we'll take whatever we can get. Please. Salt and Smoke.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Strode. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepperoncini.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We Just Know It's Stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at tmastl.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever.
When we think of a real estate agent, we think of somebody simply selling our home or finding us a new one. I mean, they're all the same, right?
Okay, here's the comps. We'll take some pics, we'll post them, and I'll get back to you, okay?
A home is life-changing, and your real estate agent should reflect that. Honesty, integrity, and someone who will go above and beyond to make your dreams come true.
The Jeff Lotman Group with Compass Realty. We're different because you're different. We want what you want. Experience the difference today at jefflotman.com, bringing people and properties together.
Driving the ball 300 yards is cool and impresses your buddies, but scoring amounts to getting the ball in the hole. Thus, the best way to lower your scores is to improve your short game. If you want a golf green that putts true and gives you real grass performance when practicing chips, pitches, and bunker shots, the only company to call is Clubhouse Turf, St. Louis's exclusive partner of Celebrity Greens. Each Clubhouse Turf signature green is unique in design and can create your own backyard golf experience that your family and friends will enjoy for years to come. Call Clubhouse Turf today at 314-802-6229. Or visit them online at clubhouseturf.com.
Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert, is with us. Ryan, rates are still going up. Is it a good time to buy a house still?
Absolutely, Doug. It truly is. We have a saying at the Home Loan Expert office. You marry the house, you date the rate. You know, you fall in love with the house. You're going to be there for a while. But the mortgage, you're probably going to refinance that along the way. Let me give you a great explanation of how this is a perfect time to buy a home. Let's say the house is for sale for $400,000. A year ago, with multiple offers, you might have had to spend $450,000 or $475,000 to buy that house. But now, in officially a buyer's market, you might be able to get that same house for $350,000. So homes are selling for less, and that's great. Now, mortgage rates are up, but don't let that scare you. Again, you marry the house, you date the rate. Mortgage rates will come back down at some point, and at thehomeloanexpert.com, we will refinance you with no fees to help keep that payment down. So again, it's a great time to buy a home. Don't let a little higher interest rate scare you. We'll refinance you without fees when the time's right. So, got questions? Ready to get pre-approved? Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan. I'm here with a great sponsor on TMA, and that is the Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. But here is the thing. You hear injury law and you go, okay, well, that's all they do. But that is not necessarily the case.
Yeah, Tim, we also do workers' compensation cases, and those are obviously cases that comes from someone getting hurt while at work. But these cases are actually kind of tricky because workers' compensation cases are governed by their own set of laws, and they can be difficult to navigate. There's a lot of things people don't know. For instance, all your medical treatment has to be provided by your employer, and there's two different kinds of payments you need to be concerned about in a work comp case. One type is just getting paid for the time that you can't work, and the other is a settlement for the permanent injury that you have, which factors in various elements of your case, such as what body part and how severe it is. And this is where you need a knowledgeable work comp attorney to help you maximize your settlement. The insurance companies don't negotiate fair in these cases and don't settle for less if you're hurt at work. Visit our website or Google Longo Biggs Injury Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as purposely, knowingly, and recklessly attempting to gain fame to boost self-esteem. So, are you thirsty? Well, TMA has you covered. Become a part of the 2023 TMA Listener of the Month Club. You nominate yourself for a monthly award. And if you win, you get recognition and stuff to help you satisfy that insatiable thirst. We're talking January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, etc. Go to TMASTL.com or the TMA app. Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information. Tell us why you deserve to be TMA Listener of the Month. And if you don't want to use your real name or photo, we don't really care. The TMA Listener of the Month. Get recognized just for being you or fake you or whatever. Quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to the brighter side of tequila with Milagro and the morning after on KPNT HD2. Come back. Now, back to the Ryan Kelly morning after on KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis.
Welcome back, Ryan Kelly, morning after. Michelob Ultra Studios. Timothy Michael McCartan, Douglas Elvin Vaughn, the Plowhawk Action Jacks with you. Ken Strode is out, and he is, what is he? Is he meeting with Seattle?
I think he's on the phone with Saudi Arabia to tell them to get their act together.
No.
If they want to be a part of this golf tour.
Get involved on the program. EDF Group text inbox, 314-881-TMA5. 636-9004 TMA is how you can call in and you can email in. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Don't forget, a week from today, Jack, You can go at the Cardinal game for TMA Day at the ballpark. We're going to be broadcasting live from Salt and Smoke. Oh, hey, at Ballpark Village. And then Cardinal Busman Special, $12.15, $30 tickets. That includes $12 in Cardinals cash, which you can use for libations. I'm going to be there with my betrothed. Jackson is bringing a special friend, but he won't tell us who. I don't know. It's a special friend. I could see it being Gareth, or I could see it being a lovely lady.
Who's the guy that won the wing eating contest?
Herb.
Herb? Yeah, could be Herb.
TMASTL.com is where you can get tickets, and it's $30. That's it for field box seats. We'll all be sitting in the same section, getting to know each other, taking our tops off. Be fun.
Cardinals we have to take our tops off?
Have to.
Yes.
Thank you.
Gosh.
Ryan Kelly's on the line, and he's been the title sponsor of this program for a decade. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. Good morning, Ryan.
I want to go with Jackson into the game.
Ooh.
Jackson, is Ryan Kelly your...
Take my top off.
Yeah. Would you be willing to do that?
Only if he takes his top off.
Bill.
You know, one time we all went to a White Sox game a while back, and legit half the guys in that stadium had their shirts off.
Oh.
South side of Chicago.
Did the ushers tell you to stop it, to put the shirt back on?
I don't even think the ushers were wearing their shirts at the White Sox.
Oh, gosh.
Everything is hot.
Pretty standard there in South Chicago. You take your shirt off there at the White Sox games, and there's usually a little tip basket at the beer stand for you to throw your quarters in when you're done buying beer. It's about how that works over there.
Harry Carey did a broadcast topless one time in the bleachers.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, Jack Buck was out there, too, I think.
Show me proof. I need a pic.
It's all just type in Harry Carey topless. It'll come up.
Boys, I got game 3 tonight. Let's get some predictions on the table. Let's go. Is Denver going to pull this off down in Miami, or is Jimmy going to stop them? What do y'all think?
I think Jimmy stops him. Jackson, do you agree with me? You've been calling your shots on this series so far.
No, I think Denver wins every game.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Jokic gets
Yeah. Let's do it. I mean, I like Jimmy Butler. I love his story. I love a few other players in that team. I've really enjoyed following them and watching them, and see them come up here into the finals, come in like a big underdog story. I'll take all of it. But there's just something special for me this year with the Joker and everybody over there in Denver. Like, watching these playoffs has been pretty magical. To see Denver sweep L.A. and send, Bron and everybody home. Well, I mean, they're on fire. It's going to be hard to stop them tonight. I think that the Joker threw up like 42, 43 in the last game, and he was disappointed he didn't have more. So I'm going to take Denver, but this is going to come down. It's going to be one of those games. My prediction is, it's going to be the last second or two that's going to draw this thing out for 5-10 minutes, and a lot of timeouts, a lot of fouls, getting it down to that last second or two. I'm going to take Denver tonight. I'm taking Jackson, too. I'm going to take Denver. I say Denver wins by a point or two, but that's it.
I like to see the Panthers and the Heat have a dual parade.
A dual parade, championship parade.
That was a wonderful reaction from our title sponsor.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, I'm pulling up here at the office, 1600 South Brentwood Boulevard.
Tired of us already.
Rolling. The jury in looks beautiful. The Home Loan Expert sign on the building is fabulous. Might get bored today. Might feel cute today. Go up there and polish it up a little bit. I don't know, man. We're just doing loans. That's what we do. We take care of our clients. A lot of folks calling in right now, thinking about buying that house. We're getting all their questions answered. We're getting them pre-approved. We're talking about rates. We have programs that if interest rates come down after you close, we'll refinance our past clients at no lender fees. Like, that's a legit step that we took to help people achieve homeownership right now. We know that rates are higher than what we've been used to for the last several years, and I get it, but don't let that stop you from getting a good deal on a home. Get in there now. Rates come down. My team will refinance you with no lender fees. That's like, okay, I can do that. I can buy that house today before prices maybe go up. I can move my family, and I know my rate's going to be a little bit high, but if rates calm down in the next 6 months, year, whatever, Home Loan Experts got me covered. They'll do that refi. Also got people finally saying, had enough with the credit cards. Like, they're just piling up, right? Like, we've been talking about it for years. Just everything just costs so much, right? I remember just a few years ago, Doug and I on this show talking about Christmas trees going up to like $300.
Oh, yeah, I remember that conversation.
Yeah, blame it on a supply chain. Like, what supply chain issue? You planted that tree like 5 years ago. There's no supply chain issue. Like, go cut the tree down and bring it to Home Depot and sell it to me for $39, like a real person should do. But anyhow, those costs are piling up. People are finally just looking at those statements going, it's time to do something. I know I got this super low 3%, but these credit cards are just killing me. They're not going anywhere. And I'm working legit just to make those minimum payments, and they're sick of it. So we're working up a lot of options right now on those cash out refinances, helping people save that money, skip some payments, all those good things. I guess the big thing is if you're thinking about a home loan today for a purchase or for refinance, we're standing by here at 1600 Brentwood Boulevard. We're ready to answer your questions. We'll talk you through the process. And if it seems like it's a good fit and you're liking the options, you'll get the whole thing wrapped up in like 10 days. I mean, who else does that? You don't even have to stress about it. Put the experts to work for you. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com. See how the game goes tonight, boys. I'll talk to you soon.
There he is, the great homeloanexpert.com. Ryan Kelly with us here on TMA. Joining us in our 8 o'clock hour. If you are feeling slow, if you are feeling sluggish, if you are dealing with anxiety, if you're just not feeling the way you did a couple of years ago, these are symptoms of low testosterone. So, what can you do about it? Well, you can go to Mentality. Mentality is online at lowtusa.com. It's FDA-approved testosterone treatment, and Mentality is a local health care facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. It doesn't matter what age you are. Low testosterone can be an issue with any guy. Even if you've tried testosterone before, not everyone understands the blood chemistry in men's bodies. Mentality can help. The normal range for testosterone is large. If you've been to a doctor and they told you that you were normal without understanding the range or testing your free testosterone, it was not fully looked at. Come get checked with Mentality. All you got to do is go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com. A lot of discussion on the Cardinals and on the Live and PGA Tour situation in our Munganess St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota 7 o'clock hour. Doug, the golf does continue, though, and it is time for you to try to defeat Ken Iggy Strode,
who is
really playing well in 2023. It's the Munganess Daily Fantasy Sports Showdown.
All right. I was expecting some sort of bumper music there. We really have it. I guess we don't get another producer. We can.
This may be a week. This may be the week, Doug. You get a win because this just sucks.
Well, I got lots of wins in the past.
No, you're losing to me.
But I've gotten lots of wins in the past, blindly drawing names out of a box.
But you're not winning, so.
I am oftentimes winning, picking winners of majors.
What's the score this year?
Oh,
you're up 2.
You're
There you go.
1 or 2.
Well, you're not winning then.
Okay, but you're doing research. I am blindly picking, and I've picked the winners of champions.
There wasn't much research
tournaments.
this week, Doug. I had just crap.
Well, that's on you.
Is this really my team? I don't remember putting these people in
All right,
here.
why don't you read it to us so we know?
All right. Well, we'll start at 7,200.
Who you got?
A man who was supposed to be a little boisterous yesterday.
What's
during
his name?
Me, but even I don't know why, because I don't even know how he still got a card.
Who is it?
First person I ever interviewed for Fairways and Greens.
You don't care about that. Who is it?
Aaron Baddeley.
Aaron Baddeley.
He's been making a lot of cuts.
Okay.
Bads.com.
Okay, I'll see if I can win some money for the children of our community.
This one's
That's all that I
for the
really care about.
Oh. This team is awful.
Doesn't.
Plowsy Knazier, pen.
Oh, yeah.
Ludwig Aberg. Ludwig.
Oh, it's Trent
Aberg.
Carter's guy, Doug. Ludwig.
Is it? Isn't he
Ludwig?
He was playing for, was he with Texas Tech just last week?
I don't know.
Isn't he an amateur?
Week.
I think he's like
out
the number 3 or maybe number 2 amateur. What's his? How do you spell his name?
Ludwig?
Aberg. Ludwig Aberg.
Trent Carter loves Ludwig.
A what?
Aberg. Aberg.
Okay.
Gosh.
I mean, I know
I
he's
didn't want to have to
amateur, but
scream
I
it.
don't know how to spell it. Let's stay in the 7,000s. I got quite a few of them. 7,300. Mark Hubbard.
Hubbard. Okay.
Homeless Hubs, Doug.
Homeless Hubs. He played well last week.
His name has come up like every week for the last month.
Well, not for me, but I did this week.
Okay, let's see what I can get. Okay, I've got one. I didn't look, of course. Old Sam Burns. 10,500. Oh, he's way up there.
Yeah, but Aberg probably cost you, what, 6,400?
8,300.
Who? Aberg costs $8,300.
Yes, Ludwig Aberg.
God Almighty! Well, this is a bad field.
Okay.
We'll stay in the 7,000s. We will go with
Who?
Eric Cole.
Eric Cole. Okay. All right, get the box over here, Plowsy.
Should have won earlier this year.
Extending my arms as far as I
Honda?
can.
He's playing well, man.
Yeah,
he is playing. He qualified for the U.S.
He's
Open.
making cuts.
Oh. Harry Higgs.
Higgs, another vocal.
Entertaining character.
Homeless Higgs. 6,500.
It was a good value play, Doug.
Nice value.
Nice to
Okay.
take his shirt off when he makes a birdie.
Is that what he does?
He did it with Joel Damon at the Waste Management.
Like Tattoo scoring a goal. Remember that? Soccer player.
Let's go to 8,700. If you don't, you should follow this guy on Twitter and follow his wife on Twitter.
I'm not going to. Who is it?
They have back and forth where he said last week he tweeted that he didn't like his wife's the way she piles the dishwasher, the way she puts the dishes in there.
Yeah.
And she says something about, well, why don't you come home? You got the weekend off after you missed the cut.
Oh.
So they go back and
Gosh.
forth. And I'm talking about Adam Hadwin.
Sure you are. Hadwin.
Yeah, she's a Spitfire.
It must be.
You introduced him there like he was coming on straight to the web.
Yeah.
I'm talking for
and you know him by his tweets, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about the lovely Adam Hadwin.
I just got a fellow by the name of Rory McIlroy.
Wow, Roderick McRib, Doug. How will he perform this week?
don't
Not
know.
only as defending champion, but really as the player everyone is talking about. Will he address the media today? So much fun to find
I don't
out
know.
here in Toronto.
He's
I found it amazing.
11,500.
Yeah, I found it amazing. 156 names in that thing, and you picked the number one golfer. It's amazing.
You're accusing the Plowhawk of...
Maybe you can
When was the
tell,
last time
like,
you won anything?
I'm on Twitter right now.
Oh, you really? What do you got going on? Drink?
Yeah, I'm just kind of growing up perusing. My point is, like, I do originally mix them up because they are stuck together a lot. But
You didn't
half of
complain when I got
these-
Harry Higgs.
half of these are upside down.
No, I'm just saying, out of 156 players, I don't know how you picked the guy, the highest priced player.
It's the same probability for any player.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, God.
I'm going to go back to him this week. He kind
Go.
of screwed me last week by finishing. I think he was the two people beat him.
Who is it?
I'm going to go with Seth Thegal again.
Sahith.
He just keeps. He just keeps
Spell the
making-
last name.
Goes by Seth.
Salith. Sahith. Sahith.
Spell the last name, please.
Thegala.
That's how it sounds, Doug.
E-E-G-E-L-A.
Doug has 13,200 left for two players, so you're going to have to find some sweet, sweet value.
Yeah, you better
Okay.
find some 6 and 7s in there, buddy.
Well, maybe I will. Here's a 6. Who is it? Old Jake Knapp.
Jake Knapp.
Jake
I
Knapp.
have never heard of Jake Knapp.
NAP.
K-N-A-P-P.
I bet you this guy's a stud.
6,500.
You got 6,700 left to play with.
NAAP.
God darn it! Here's Aberg, A-B-E-R-G. Here's Knapp, K-N-A-P-P. Oh!
Oh, I should have known that.
I mean, this isn't going to be hard to find a 67.
That's my
I
friend.
found two of them.
I wonder if he's related to my former neighbor, Chris Knapp.
Probably not.
And a weak field, I got to play him. I'm going with Tommy Fleet.
Okay.
Tommy Fleet.
All right, Doug, keep picking.
I may not have to. I've picked two players already in the 6,000s. Well, here's Cameron Young. He's 9,300. It won't work. Oh,
Sure, Arjan Atwell's in this field.
Arjan Atwell. Here's one that'll work. Chris Stroud, 6,500.
You got him.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome, Chris.
That's a weird looking roster. that
Plowhawk,
Doug
you
has.
tweeted out, is that the Munganess Daily Fantasy Sports Show
Yes.
final one? Okay.
Yeah, that's
you,
final
you
one.
tweeted out something from Rory?
Yeah.
Did he
About-
say this?
I mean, this looks like it was said.
But is this was, you quote tweeted, Doug, is it nuclear golf? NUCLRGOLF? And it's a quote from Rory McIlroy.
What do you say?
I mean,
I
usually
still
if-
hate live. I hope it goes away and fully expect that it does. This is the DP PGA Tour and PIF. So he has issued a statement, or did he do a press conference, or what?
I thought he was supposed to talk early this morning.
that
Am I
right?
correct on that? I saw 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., but I don't know what time that is.
I can't believe Rory would say, I still hate live
That's
golf.
what.
Well, I just saw it from the Plowhawks Twitter account, and that's why I was asking
actually,
if we
Kyle
saw it.
Porter does have it as well.
Okay.
He's a legit
So I would
columnist.
love to see if we have the sound from that. If you can find that, Jackson. I don't know if that's up somewhere. That would be phenomenal. Kyle Porter writes for CBS Sports.
Correct.
All right, here we go. Rory, I still hate Liv. I hate them. I hope it goes away and expect that it does. And he is correcting everyone who conflates Liv and the PIF. Rory, it's hard for me not to sit up here and feel somewhat like a sacrificial lamb. Do you still have confidence in Jay Monahan as commissioner of the PGA Tour? Rory, after a deep breath, I do. Rory, technically anyone involved with Liv would now answer to Jay. Whether you like it or not, the PIF, we're going to keep spending in golf. At least you now can control how that money is spent. I would respectfully disagree with that. I don't think anybody's in control of the Saudi Public Investment Fund. Rory, all the headlines were PGA Tour merges with Liv. Liv has got nothing to do with this. That's from Rory McIlroy this morning. Rory, when I try to remove myself from the situation and I look at the bigger picture, I think ultimately this is going to be good for the game of professional golf. It unifies it and it secures its future. Let's see. Rory got a text on Monday night, and so today is Wednesday, right, from Jimmy Dunn, who then called him on Tuesday morning to walk him through the news. So he found out from Jimmy Dunn, who, as we talked about in the Munganess 7 o'clock hour, was one of the 3 people who played a role in orchestrating this deal with Saudi Arabia. So Kyle Porter, at Kyle Porter CBS is where I'm getting all of this. Rory, on Saudi money, I've come to terms with it. I've resigned myself to this is what's going to happen. It's very hard to keep up with people who have more money than anyone else. That is Rory McIlroy this morning, so he is speaking. But I suppose the one that gets more attention than anything, I still hate Liv. I hate them. I hope it goes away and expect that it does. And the point of that was to correct everyone who conflates Liv Golf with the PIF. Doug, do you want to call it the PIF or the PIF?
Yeah, that's just stupid. Change your name.
But
everything I saw on the Golf Channel, no, you got PIF. The PGA and PIF.
Okay, stop that.
Stop with PIF.
Now, with the McIlroy comments when he says he hates Liv, is there any shot at the Liv players or the players that went to Liv, or is he just talking about the entity itself? Because I know he is not a fan of a lot of the Liv players.
I don't think he's talking about the players, because that'd be a blanket statement saying I hate Liv.
What Liv play? I mean, P. Reed.
P. Reed is the main
Any other?
one.
Any other?
I thought him and DeChambeau were at odds, but I could have been wrong on that.
Well, him and Phil probably now.
Well,
Phil. Of course. How'd I forget that one? That's the main one.
And Dustin Johnson's a big name on Liv too.
Yeah, but I think there's no hatred toward Dustin.
He's not. He never
DJ.
talks.
Everybody loved
You know, he just goes about, makes his $4 million, and just goes home to Paulina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if anybody had the life, DJ just collected more cash, and now he's
all these guys.
The invincibility of not giving an F.
Yes, he is.
All these guys
at
have
it.
got the life.
Oh, yeah, of course.
At least
Living
the
in
top
Jupiter.
100 or so have all got the life.
Absolutely.
They're young guys who've made millions already. It's hard to feel sorry for any of them, isn't it?
Willie Z, man, that's the one Will Zalatoris, it all come back to
He's
Z.
made his millions also.
I get it. The one guy I feel bad for.
Well, a lot of
These
these
guys
guys
are set
have
for
turned
life
down.
by the time they're 28, 29 years old. We're worried about their future.
I'm not worried about anybody. I'm just saying if
What
I
about
feel
Rose
bad.
Zhang?
What about Rose Zhang?
I'm not worried about her future either.
Yikes.
Now that she got her card, is that what the lead story was the last 2 days?
Yeah, she accepted.
But isn't the
God,
LPGA a different entity than the PGA? Like, it's not like the NBA, WNBA. Am I correct?
I don't
what's
believe
that?
I believe they're different entities.
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe it is
I didn't, because the
LPGA has nothing to do
WNBA
with
is
the
owned by the
PGA.
NBA. I didn't know if it was the same concept with the PGA,
No,
LPGA.
LPGA has nothing to do with the PGA.
Gotcha.
Just like the PGA of America has nothing to do with the PGA Tour.
Which is weird, but yes.
Could you see the LPGA golfers suing because they don't make the same money as the PGA golfers?
That was exactly, Doug,
I can't.
where I
because
was getting
it's not
at.
the same group.
Well, the USA Soccer did that. The women's
Yeah,
soccer
but it's
players
the same.
sued.
No, but they're also under the one umbrella.
You know,
The LPGA Tour is not under the PGA Tour umbrella.
it still doesn't make any sense if one team creates a whole lot of money and the other doesn't.
Well,
and you
go
don't
look at the
wanna be
TV
paid the
ratings
same.
and the TV sponsors and the contracts and the go look at the two difference and you tell me how they're going to make as much money as the PGA Tour.
Well, you could say the same thing about the soccer. The women's soccer don't create anywhere close to
Again,
the
it's
money
under
that
the same umbrella.
I understand that. I'm just saying.
Y'all finna fight?
It would be interesting if that were to come about, if they sue, because, hey, why aren't we making the same money?
Well, who are you going to sue?
Worked for soccer. I don't know.
Who are you going to sue?
You just start suing everybody. Sue PIF.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Greg Norman.
They got all the money. Sue them.
Greg Norman,
Why
if
don't
you
we
would-
sue PIF? Maybe they'll settle out of court.
So Rory also said him and Jay Monahan, or Jay made it clear that there will be a process of players who initially turn their backs. I know they were talking
I'm sorry,
yesterday.
I don't follow you. What do you mean by that?
And so we just can't welcome them back in. It's the Rory quote. They
I
harmed
see.
the PGA Tour. Rory said Jay made it clear that yesterday that there would be a process for players who initially turn their backs. So obviously, paying a fine. Do they have to re-register for a PGA Tour card? I just assumed they'd all be welcome back and said screw it. But
This is all stuff we'll learn in the next
yeah, I just
leading
that's
into because
weird.
none of this is even going to take place till next year. So
Rory on the players trying to hold on to their cards, upset about the news. Quote, it's hard for me to relate to those guys because I've never been in that position. I try to empathize. Apologize. Terrible read on my part. That quote comes off rough, but I didn't hear it, so I would imagine he wasn't saying it as, because it sounds like he's like, I don't know. I'm
He's
the top
kind of
player in the world.
careening out of control right now.
maybe that's when he said play better.
Yeah.
Holding onto your car, well, play better. Yeah, what is I don't know what that has to do with, the merger. I mean,
Well, if now a bunch of guys are going to now get cards in the PGA Tour,
A bunch of people were.
take your pick of whomever, then that will then have a domino effect for the back end of players who wouldn't have their card.
but you only have a card because they left.
Correct.
So, they're coming back. Well, now you got to try to earn your card instead of getting it because 25 players left.
Which I believe came from the Grayson Murray Play Better exchange. That was.
And it may be
Probably.
cruel, but you can't design your sports league around the least of the players.
I'm with you, Doug. But also, the DP Tour and the Korn Ferry Tour will also have more. I mean, maybe not more events, but a higher purse, right, for theirs. So maybe if you don't have a PGA Tour card, maybe at least it's incentivizing, the secondary tours with maybe bigger payouts for those events. I don't know how that.
Could we start an HD2 tour?
Oh my God!
Oh my God! I think there would
Who
be
says we
global
won't?
interest in this show.
Yeah.
Do you imagine our stops? Be like Birmingham and Toledo and
They'd love us.
Well, they were going to.
Fairbanks.
Until I called them out, they changed their mind.
Until you called them out?
Yeah, I said, come after me, Saudi Arabia.
And now they've softened their stance.
There's
They
a
don't want
world
anything to do with
tour.
you.
I got a text from Tommy that said, great, they were all in and now they're out again.
Oh.
It was Tommy's birthday yesterday. Our boss, Tommy Mattern's birthday was yesterday.
You know what's funny? I texted Tommy happy birthday, and I also screenshotted your post of Tommy's birthday and said, Iggy picked out one of your best stock photos on Google.
He did.
Because
No,
it was a good-looking picture of Tommy.
But he had a great picture of him and Dave Grohl, and it wouldn't let me download it, so.
Can't you just screenshot it?
Best boss I've had.
Well, I was doing it on my phone,
Outside
so
of
I
Tim.
can screenshot from my phone on my phone.
Absolutely you can.
How am I looking at a picture on my phone? How am I going to screenshot that with my phone?
Screenshot.
With the screenshot.
Yeah, like
I don't have an iPhone.
No,
I'm
you can-
sure your phone
I
has
bet you Android can screenshot.
No, it's too complicated. I just picked one I could
It's
download.
hitting two buttons at the same time.
Could have just went to his Facebook page and grabbed one like everybody does with me.
Iggy, on the Android, press the power and volume button.
Here you go. Plowhawk just taught you.
Just like the same thing with the iPhone.
The power and the volume down button at the same time,
That's
and
what
that
you
will
do
take
with
a picture.
That's what you do with the iPhone too, right?
I'm pretty sure it says Android too.
Yeah, but the iPhone
Yeah, it's
is
the same process.
thing.
Yeah.
I think it's volume up on iPhone, but
I
we're
don't
picking
care.
hairs.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, it's something to learn. If you can always
It's
screenshot
the best,
anything that's on your
Iggy.
phone.
It's the best.
And then you save it to your photos, and you got it. You can edit it around and make it look better.
Screenshot a tweet that you know is going to be deleted in the next 5 minutes by somebody who's drunk or something. Those are the best screenshots when you utilize it.
Especially if we're going to sue PIF, you need all the evidence you can get.
Okay, 'cause I've seen some great naked pictures on Twitter, and I can't. They won't let me.
Wow.
You see naked pictures on the Twitter tweets?
And you're saving
yeah.
them?
A lot of nudity on Twitter.
In the next
There you go,
commercial
Ella
break.
Reese.
Next commercial break, we'll show
Point
you how
out
to
on Instagram.
screenshot. All right. It'll be a big moment for you.
Oh yeah, that's where you can have nudity on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
Do you have to have it all the
there
time?
are people promoting OnlyFans all the time, and Joanna Angel. If you don't know her,
No, who's that?
Doug, you know Joanna
No.
Angel.
she's the gape queen of New York.
Oh.
Flip that off. Somebody snag that audio.
She's fun. Married to Small Hands.
Yeah, she's a great Twitter follower in general. She's very
Doug, start
entertaining.
following Joanna Angel
I
and
don't
Small
want
Hands.
to. Why do I want to follow the Gape Queen?
Flip that off.
A little too many tattoos for me, but
Yeah, she does have a Bonnie Rotten
she
style.
was a fun interview. Me and Biff interviewed her in Small Hands on
That's-
the red carpet.
That's who I'd want to interview.
That's one of the 50 Biff Avs he said we haven't played yet. Well, maybe if you send him over, we could edit him.
Uh-oh. Biff's taking shrapnel.
Biff asked me if I'd like to attend the next AVNs with him, and I said, "What hotel?" And he goes, "Oh, we'll work on that."
Oh.
Yeah, Hooters is gone.
Guys, I just tuned in. Why are you guys suing Biff? Thanks. That's from Wedding Tackle.
Well, we'll sue him too.
Suing Biff.
We fully intend to sue Piff because they've got all the money. And they may see it as a nuisance lawsuit. Here's a couple million. Now go away.
Guys, my work email is down. Did Iggy send out a message to all of the Hubbard staff wishing Tommy a happy birthday? That's from KG, and he's in O-Town at the moment. I didn't see it if you did.
No, I didn't. I put it on my Facebook page. I just said, happy birthday to one of the best bosses I ever had.
Brown nosing.
I texted
Brown nosing.
after I saw that. I go, "Okay, I'm going to one up him. I'm going to text Tommy."
Oh.
Then my friend Jenna Williams, who's doing the morning show, in case you know, replied, says something like, yes, he is one of the best. I was going to say, yeah, good. Somebody else kissing his ass. I don't look so bad now.
There it is, Doug.
Well, you don't look bad by wishing someone.
I
happy
know. I'm not
birthday.
kissing his ass. I mean, I talk about how great Hubbard is and how much I love everybody here every day. So
Right.
Do anything
it's
for
not like
him.
I'm hiding anything. No.
Strode is such a kiss ass. That's from Dewey Oxburger.
I came off as a kiss ass, but it wasn't. I wish everybody happy birthday. That I come up with my Facebook friends that I know them.
Yeah.
11 birthdays today.
What if Tommy would have said it's my birthday in 3 days?
I would have probably went to his office and said, you got to stop with that, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Walked in there.
For my birthday
Line,
month.
You
You
used to
got
be my
to
favorite
stop
boss.
with that self-promotion of your birthdays, man.
Guys, this Iggy's screenshot tutorial is amazing. That's from Big Ol' Fan. Iggy's nonstop obsession with detecting nudity rivals any hormone-raging 13-year-old boy. It's amazing. That's from Manute Bowl.
You got a problem with nudity, buddy?
Flip that up. Doug, I have a problem in finding great jewelry, but I don't anymore because of Glenn Betts Jewelers, in business in St. Louis since 1941 and operated by the third and fourth generation of the Betts family. The Glenn Betts difference is you are served personally, not sold. The Glenn Betts Jewelers develops relationships through generations of your family as well. They get to know your likes, lifestyle, and who and what you love. The 3 L's. GlennBettsJewelers.com. GLENNBETZ Jewelers.com. Located 1 mile east of 270 on Manchester and De Pere. In the jewelry business, there is good, better, and then there is Betts. The Betts family passion for serving their customers has been passed down from generation to generation. It's GlennBettsJewelers.com, the official jeweler of TMA.
I'm pretty sure they can make something for you, too. I went in there
course they can.
probably about 5 years ago. And I always wanted a silver watch with a black dial. And I could never find one. And Craig said, we'll make you one.
Sure they can.
Look at that.
And I got the dial, it even says Betts on it.
And
Beautiful.
you have that now, dude.
I gave it to my brother Skip.
Skip's got it.
Okay.
Let's see. Tommy Zabulkin, VIP Auto Accessories. Graphics and commercial work, upfitting, VIP, your one-stop shop for all your graphic and commercial vehicle upfitting needs. They do vehicle wraps, wide format printing such as banners, storefront signage, walls, floors, etc. Anything with graphics, Tommy and VIP can do. Your one-stop shop, 3 in-house services to take care of it all for you. Design, production, and installation. VIP gets your fleet vehicles from dealership to street ready fast and personalized for your company's needs. They know that every day your vehicle isn't street ready, it's lost revenue. Fleet vehicles, signage, graphics, and design. VIP does it all in-house for your business. It's VIP Auto Accessories. Tommy Zabulka says go ahead and contact me directly. That's fine. Here's his number, 314-428-3900. You can email with Tommy.cibulka@VIPAutoaccessories.com. It is 9:09 in St. Louis. We close out our 8 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock hour with the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day coming up. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
Doug Vaughn here alongside Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. Ryan, a lot of people need cash and they need it now, but they maybe don't want to refinance their mortgage. What can you do to help them?
No, you're not kidding about that. A lot of folks refinanced or bought a house in the last couple of years, and they have this really low interest rate, 2.5%, 3%, and they know they have $100,000 in equity or whatever that number is, but they just don't want to refinance that loan. And that's why we have a home equity line of credit at the Home Loan Expert. We can tap into the equity and get you the cash you need without touching that low rate on the first mortgage you have. It's a great solution when you need to pay off those credit cards, when you want to make those home improvements, or you want to just get caught up on the bills finally now and put some cash in the bank. A home equity line of credit can give you all of those things without replacing that current low rate first mortgage. Got questions? Ready to get pre-approved? Let's talk. It all starts today by visiting thehomeloanexpert.com.
Hello, it's Jackson for Rosalita's. TMA listeners know that Rosalita's Cantina has the best patio and the best Tex-Mex in town. From tableside guac to piled high nachos, the amazing menu at Rosalita's is full of classic Mexican dishes. Plus, it's always time for a margarita, and Rosalita's has the most delicious house and specialty margs in town. Enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 6, and let Rosalita's cater your next event. Check out rosalitascantina.com or visit the downtown or DePere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalita's.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan. I am here with a wonderful sponsor of TMA, and that is Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. And this is something that I experienced, as a matter of fact, years ago. If you get a call from an insurance agency, if you were in an accident, they are not necessarily working on your side. Isn't that right?
Yeah, Tim. I mean, in almost every case, there's going to be an insurance company involved. You know, they typically insure whoever caused the injuries to you by the person or the business that caused it. And unfortunately, from the moment your case begins, the insurance company is actually working against you, trying to minimize their payout. You might get a call from like somebody who seems like to be a really nice person who's just trying to see how you're doing, but their goal is actually to get some information out of you to turn around and use it later to show that you're not as hurt as you actually are. Insurance companies have specialized systems and thousands of workers who follow a playbook to pay you as little money as possible when you're hurt. This is Doug Biggs, and my injury law firm hates insurance companies and their deceitful tactics, and we'll make a fair fight out of it. Visit our website or Google Longo Biggs Injury Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When we think of a real estate agent, we think of somebody simply selling our home or finding us a new one. I mean, they're all the same, right?
Okay, here's the comps. We'll take some pics, we'll post them, and I'll get back to you, okay?
A home is life-changing, and your real estate agent should reflect that. Honesty, integrity, and someone who will go above and beyond to make your dreams come true.
The Jeff Lotman Group with Compass Realty. We're different because you're different. We want what you want. Experience the difference today at jefflotman.com, bringing people and properties together.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie.
And now the Pepper and Genie Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Stroh. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepper and Genie.
Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie. Pepper and Genie.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at tmastl.com and on the TMA-STL mobile app. Whatever.
I'm Batman.
Fan favorite DC superhero The Flash now has his own feature film. Can he coax a very different Batman out of retirement to rescue Supergirl? Man, I don't know. Just go try to win tickets. We've got him at the TMA app and at tmastl.com.
I'm Batman.
You could go to the screening of The Flash Monday, June 12th at 7 p.m. at Alamo Draft House at City Foundry. Register now on the TMA app and at tmastl.com. Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as purposely, knowingly, and recklessly attempting to gain fame to boost self-esteem. So, are you thirsty? Well, TMA has you covered. Become a part of the 2023 TMA Listener of the Month Club. You nominate yourself for a monthly award. And if you win, you get recognition and stuff to help you satisfy that insatiable thirst. We're talking January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, etc. Go to tmastl.com or the TMA app. Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information. Tell us why you deserve to be TMA Listener of the Month. And if you don't want to use your real name or photo, we don't really care. The TMA TMA Listener of the Month. Get recognized just for being you or fake you or whatever. Quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to the brighter side of tequila with Milagro in the morning after on KPNT HD2.
Hey, St. Louis. Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. When you head downtown for a concert or Cards or Blues game, and now for the St. Louis City soccer game, please come see us at Maggie O'Brien's before and after your event. Take our shuttle to and from or stay in-house and watch your favorite team on our multiple high-def TVs. We look forward to seeing you soon at one of our 2 locations in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
That ball is gone! Blow off work and join the morning after at Busch Stadium on Wednesday, June 14th, when the Cardinals take on the Giants for a day game. And get field tickets for $30, which includes $12 in Cards cash. Maybe use it to buy helmet nachos? You'll sit with other TMA listeners, too. Before the game, head over to Salt and Smoke at Ballpark Village for a pre-game live TMA broadcast from 7-ish to 10 with a special breakfast and drink menu from Salt and Smoke. Not to completely overload you with information, but here goes. Head to the TMA STL shop to get your best fans in baseball shirt for our big day at a big discount. Use the code CARDS to get the shirt for only $20. Plus, all shirts will ship to Hubbard, and you'll pick them up at Salt and Smoke the morning of the game. Find out more about all this stuff at TMASTL.com. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. Now, back to the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
Welcome back, Ryan Kelly Morning After. Send your emails in for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, which comes 30 minutes from right now. What a fun segment it'll be with Design Air Heating and Cooling, the official HVAC provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. 10 o'clock, 101 ESPN. Jackson and I, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. You know, they're not going to be happy. The Cardinals are slowly fading away.
Actually, quickly fading away.
What?
5 losses in a row.
Yeah.
8.5 out now.
That's right. That's right.
Gosh. And your prediction is a 1-5 week will spur a managerial change?
That's where I'm going with it.
So far, 0-2.
That's right.
Got another whooping probably coming tonight.
Rangers 20 games over 500.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't have. Listen, you know what? I don't have the answers.
No. Well, no one's got them right now.
I do know that we can hang out and watch the Cardinals together a week from today. TMASTL.com. It's TMA Day at the Ballpark. Busman's Special. Hang out with me, Doug, Plowhawk, Iggy, Jackson, and just have a little pony. It's $30 for field box tickets. We'll all be there. And it's available at TMASTL.com. So take the day off and hang out with us and get to know us better. Are you going to talk to people?
Oh, I don't think so.
Good, because I won't either.
Yeah, I'll go in some sort of disguise. And then when I sit down, like the old Mission Impossible, I'll just rip off this plastic face mask and you reveal the real me.
In the 9th inning.
Yeah. Are we supposed to talk to people?
I wouldn't think so.
Will Iggy be signing? That's what people will really
bring those glossies that he's going to bring to Munganess when he's selling cars on July 8th. TMASTL.com. TMA Day at the Ballpark. We're broadcasting live from Salt and Smoke at Ballpark Village. And then TMA Day at the Ballpark, 12:15 start a week from today against the San Francisco Giants. You can sign up to be the TMA Listener of the Month when you drop by TMASTL.com. It's Milagro Tequila's TMA Listener of the Month. Welcome to a brighter side of tequila with Milagro. For our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, we have tickets to an advanced screening of The Flash on Monday, June 12th, at the Alamo Draft House. So that is the prize for today's Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, and it's also the prize on the TMA STL app. 2 tickets to an advanced screening of The Flash on Monday, June 12th, at the Alamo Draft House. That is available at the TMA STL app, and become a friend of the Feather if you would like. Here is Michael Collins, who's a friend of the show, good friend of Jennings, and he is talking about the possibility of a golfers' union.
Hit the lever, Plowsy. Plowsy!
You hear me hitting it.
Mm-hmm. Hit that lever! Hit the lever.
There is a very good chance that a player union could come out of this. It definitely could come out of this. Now, I don't know if what has now been put in motion, once that snowball starts going down the hill and it becomes this avalanche, I don't know how you stop it. I don't know if a player union would stop it, but it would be very easy to see in the future the players getting together and forming a union to make sure something like this never happens in the future. And that is the craziness that golf has been for the last 2 years. I mean, it is just from where we have gone from coming out of the pandemic to Live being created and starting their tour and like launching a year early to where we are now. It is at the speed of light compared to golf in the past moving at the speed of less than a glacier.
Michael Collins, and then he was also asked about Greg Norman's future. Here's what he said.
I think both Mickelson and Greg Norman are laughing in a sense. Mickelson more than Norman. Because here's the thing. In this new structure, Norman's out. There's no place for him in this new merger. So this is twice that he has gotten blanked over for this. Once when he first tried to create it and the tour basically booted his idea before and then came up with the WGC, which was his exact idea, and then they took it from him then. And now with this Live, which was his baby, guess what? Just got snatched from him again. So everything that he has created has come to fruition and blown up in a big way. And both times that it's happened now, he's gotten kicked in the pants and shown the door.
Greg Norman most likely not going to be involved with the whatever it's called.
But possibly one of the wealthier golfers in the history of the sport.
Oh, yeah, he was already one of them before with his other business interests.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about him.
Kendall Roy said, we're already rich.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about a union.
I don't know. I think that makes sense. Then the players can control it.
It makes sense, but they don't control it.
But they would if they had a union. They could.
Well, I mean, they're individual contractors. They can walk out now if they want.
Well, they're talking. They wouldn't be if they joined if they were union.
Well, the union, they walk out. We're not playing until you give us more money. Go more money.
Well, it may not be just more money. It may be conditions or, getting paid to be in the events rather than having to pay for the events or just taking over the tour themselves. If they were in a union, they could just say, we don't want anything to do with any of this. We're going to. They probably won't, but at least they would have some power.
No, but then the highest priced players say, we'll wait it out. And the guys that are barely making a living trying to keep their card would never do it.
Yeah, that can be a problem in unions where some people make considerably more money than others.
You don't unionize when you're owned by the PIF. Again, Americans are so dumb, Mr. Licks.
Well,
and don't forget the PGA is a nonprofit. I don't know if you can form a union against a nonprofit.
But they're forming a new LLC, which will be for profit, in addition to having the nonprofit still in existence for tax purposes. Are you aware of that part of it? Yeah, that's a big development. I know it's not necessarily titillating, but that's one of the announcements yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. It's a nonprofit. The PGA has more money than they can shake a stick at. They're a nonprofit, but they're making billions and billions of dollars. So I don't know.
Hey, morons, the cameras were on during the break, and yes, we saw the naughty stuff. That's from a Newt Bowl eligible. Doug, with the cameras on while
there were manuals, so nothing was said, and everybody exited the studio pretty much immediately.
Yeah, Doug was just trying to show me how to
screenshot. Did you figure that out? Did it work?
It didn't work. I thought it sounded like it was just like an iPhone, but it wasn't. I hit the same buttons and nothing happened.
What, the power button for him?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, it'd be a nice thing to learn. It would take 10 seconds.
I don't Snapchat. I don't.
You tried to just yesterday.
Yeah, it's the first time I ever tried to get a picture that didn't let me hold my thumb on it and let me download it.
Well,
I don't really care.
Just trying to teach
I have
you
so many
something.
pictures on my phone. I need to start deleting. I look for a picture to post, if I have a post on Facebook, this would be a great picture to use, that one that I had at the AVNs. I mean, I have to scroll for hours to get to the bottom of my thing.
So press the volume down button at the same time as the sleep/wake button?
I don't have that.
You must have it.
I don't. There's a lot of things on my phone I still don't know.
See, it's these two things, Iggy. I can't.
I don't care.
You don't want to learn?
It's like that right there, those two buttons. It looks like the two buttons to your left or to your right when you're looking at your phone.
Okay, well, I have one button on my right.
You're fighting this. You're fighting learning something.
I don't. There's nothing about my phone I need to learn that I want to know.
You need to learn how to do a screenshot.
I would like to learn back in the day when I had Snapchat that only lasts for 15 seconds. And a girl would send me a naked picture of her going to bed, and I try to save it. It was gone already.
This was going on all the time?
I'd like to try to save it. I can't. It's gone too quick.
You could with a screenshot.
I didn't know how to do it back then.
But we're trying to teach
How many
you
women
now.
were sending you naked photos, bro?
I had 5 or 6 that
Oh,
is
come on. Come on.
Well, that's all Snapchat is.
Who was sending you
Either
pictures?
Larry Nichols saying good night to 9,000 people, or friends of mine that get on Snapchat and this is what I'm doing before bed. It's a naked picture of the
come
shower.
on. You're not dating anyone?
No.
Did you know these
What does dating have to do with getting naked pictures from women?
Well, you had something going, right? They don't just randomly send you pictures, or do they?
Well, they were friends, and we just got on Snapchat, and
Did you send them naked pictures of yourself?
I don't believe I did. Not on Snapchat, no.
I think there are two things I want to focus on. I don't believe I did, and then not on Snapchat, no. That's where if I were a counselor, I would pry a little.
No, I got off there quickly. It wasn't. It's kind of stupid.
Well, why would it be stupid if random women are sending you naked pictures
It didn't happen all the time. I get every night. I'd be almost asleep, and I get a Snapchat from Larry Nichols. Good night.
Oh, God. Just turn the volume down.
It was good night till you woke me up to say good night.
Turn the volume down on your phone.
No, but then I can't hear my alarm.
It's time to old yeller him. Let's go for a walk, Iggy. That's from the Crystal City Clam Him.
You have your volume all the way up while it lays next to you in bed?
I have to. I don't hear my alarm.
The volume on your phone is different than the ringer.
Yeah, the ringer
The
volume.
ringer doesn't have to be on for your alarm to go off.
I try.
I don't want to take any chances. I turn it down. And
Trust me.
Just do it every day.
Well, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And if I don't come into work, I'm sleeping.
I got a message.
on Saturday.
Got a message from an Android user. Have Iggy put his hand on the phone like a karate chop. I mean,
what?
Follow the steps.
They're trolling you.
No. And then swipe right on the screen. It should screenshot then. It says, I know it sounds crazy.
Can I use my
but it'll
thumb
work.
and swipe right? Why do I got to use a karate chop and swipe right?
This is what, like, the.
I don't care.
But can you try it just for us?
No.
Just
More
learn
important.
something today. You should learn something every day. It's good for your brain.
I was talking to a listener outside while I was smoking.
The fountain?
And we were talking about why is water so relaxing?
Flip that off.
I mean, the ocean, that fountain is very relaxing. I just sit out there and relax for the waterfall. And on my white noise machine, I got rain falling. Water's just so relaxing. I don't know why.
Cut his mic. Period. Now. That's from the bastard James Hunt.
I actually like the old yeller. Take him out back.
Doug, breaking news. If you're interested, you can see Messi play the Doggies on July 15th because he has decided to join MLS's Inter Miami. How about that?
Really?
We're screwed.
What do you mean, Jackson?
He's one of the best players in the world. He's going to come play in the MLS.
Yeah, but the Doggies are the top team in the Western
Don't
Conference.
matter. He's too good.
Is he coming this year?
Doug, they're playing the game that was abandoned tonight.
I don't like the
I
word
think he's
abandoned.
coming in the summer transfer window, so that starts July 1st.
Why
is the game here?
Why is he coming to the MLS?
Make a bunch of money, and he's kind of done with Europe.
How much money can the MLS pay him?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah, not as much as he could make in Europe, but still make a lot of money and dominate still. Yeah.
He seems like a great guy, too. I've seen some videos of him behind the scenes when he didn't necessarily know the camera was rolling, and he was going out of his way to sign autographs
Take care
for
of
little
kids and stuff,
things.
yeah. Is Miami coming to St. Louis?
Tim just said we have a chance to see him.
Yeah, July 15th.
Well, I mean, you can watch it on Apple and see him.
In person.
Oh, maybe I'll go meet him.
Now, how would you get to meet
You
him?
get him on the show?
Yeah, find out what hotel he's at. Go hang out like
You gotta
Timberfake.
stalk his hotel?
No, I really don't care to meet the guy. I really don't know much about him.
Who?
Messi.
Oh.
I mean, I know he's a famous soccer player, and he's one of the best ever of all time.
Typically what happens in the MLS. I
mean,
thought it would be another 10 years from now when he was barely moving. Then they give
You know, him and Ronaldo and that guy that headbutted somebody. Zavadan.
Zinedine Zidane. He's been retired for years.
Yeah, it's only, maybe we can get Mia Hamm to play for us. It'll draw.
No.
My guess is STL City will be like the DeWitts and be like, oh, we don't have the money. We're just a mid-market team.
There's an
come on.
argument to be made that all MLS teams should pay for Messi's salary. Because if you bring him, think of the ticket sales for any game where he's going to be at. You know, if you're at a football stadium, you can almost draw the whole thing.
He got to pick what team he went to, obviously.
Yeah, so with the transfer window once your contract's up.
I thought he would have went to Houston.
Or wherever there's a big stadium where he could
Houston
fill the
guy.
stadium every
Well,
time.
St.
he
Louis
played.
ain't going to pay him. They sell out every game anyway. They don't care.
I think he got the same offer, a similar offer to what Ronaldo got from a Saudi Arabian team for, crazy amount of money, but he's choosing.
Yeah, maybe we get Ronaldo to play here.
Also, Inter Miami is owned by David Beckham, so.
Where do they play? They play in a big football stadium?
Inter Miami? I don't know. I think they have their own, but they might play at Hard Rock or whatever the
It's like
Dolphin Stadium is.
Seattle plays there at the football stadium, right? They'd get 60,000
Lumen, yeah,
a night every time you
I
play.
think Inter has their. I'd be surprised if. Yeah, they have their own stadium.
And I think if St. Louis City played at Busch Stadium, they would draw less than 22,000.
Oh, they would not. They draw more.
No, because I think majority of the people go for the atmosphere, and there'd be no atmosphere at Busch Stadium.
Why not?
What kind of an atmosphere can you have in a 50,000 seat stadium?
They had big crowds when the women's team played there. The women's national
that was
team.
the women's
played there.
national team, wasn't the MLS.
Well, but we would have more connection to our MLS team than the women's national team, I think.
No, you get to see some superstars.
If we're playing Cincinnati FC or the Houston Dynamo, I'm 100% with Iggy.
You think people wouldn't turn out to Busch Stadium to watch them play now? They do more than 22,000.
I don't think they would, because I'm not poo-pooing soccer, but I'm saying that I think a lot of the people that go to the soccer know nothing about soccer. They want to be there for the atmosphere and the kits and the standing up and cheering and
Doug, do
singing.
you go for the kits?
No, I think a lot
But
of
if you
people
put it
do
at Busch
know
Stadium,
about it.
there is no atmosphere.
Max Brado said the kits were magenta on the broadcast this past weekend.
They're refused. I think there is a contract where you can't say pink. They almost have to
Must
call
be.
it the P word.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is calling it like they see it.
Well, look, the ones
That's
in
also
Plaza
why I
have
don't
are
like
pink.
the MLS.
Uh-oh. Why? Because they can't say the word pink?
Yeah, they refuse to make a legit argument on
What about
the
wet pink?
jersey. It's pink.
Now Iggy's wearing pink today.
Yeah, but he's
I would
not
call
sa-
that magenta.
Was that
Yeah, I would
salmon?
call it magenta.
The hat is definitely
The hat is pink, yeah. Doesn't really match the shirt, but
the shirt is salmon.
salmon. Yeah, I like salmon.
I do too. Okay, settle that. But I do think there'd be a good atmosphere at Busch Stadium if they played there, and I think they'd get a
I
much
don't think
bigger
there would
crowd
be.
than 22,000.
I would disagree. I'm gonna call Carolyn today and say, can we have a match at Busch Stadium toward the end of the year? I got a bet with Doug.
She'll say, "What the hell are you talking about?
She'll say, Iggy,
we have
I'll
our own
try.
stadium. We're not moving."
Is that a great idea, Iggy? I'll try.
They had a nice atmosphere here when they played those other games.
What
At
games?
Busch. At Busch. We've had several games at Busch.
Yeah, I don't remember the atmosphere.
It was very nice.
How many they draw?
They like packed the stadium. Pretty
40,000 people for a soccer game
Something
at Busch
like
Stadium?
that. Yeah,
No.
it was packed. It was absolutely packed. Well, I don't mean to disappoint you with you, but
You're not disappointing me. There's no way they drove 40,000 people.
I don't know the exact attendance figure, but it was packed. They had big crowds.
Again, it was the U.S. women's team, so you got to see Sauerbrunn and
Sauerbrunn.
Sauerbraten. A condiment?
Oh, wow.
Becky Sauerbrunn.
Sauerbrunn.
We'll do high.
Mm-hmm.
We had her in studio at the Woman, I think, back in the day. She was just a kid.
Right.
Yeah, but you still had some of those Rapinoe and those people were still playing.
There's also exhibition games.
Yeah, but they were still there. There's nobody on.
How about
St.
when
Louis.
Ronaldo was here to play at the Dome? What kind of crowd did they get?
I'm sure it was big. It's Ronaldo. You comparing Ronaldo to Bergie,
Berkey.
whatever his name is?
Fergie's coming? Is she singing the national anthem?
No, I'm not comparing them. I'm saying that you can. I think you can play in other places besides just the soccer stadium here and draw big crowds and have
Well,
good
we
atmosphere.
disagree.
Okay, but it's been proven that they've done it.
I mean, if they played
Not with this team.
If they played Messi, they could play at Heine Miney and get 100,000
Doug
people.
Rabid Dogs in the outfield.
There's no place
Again,
to park
you
100,000
guys are
people.
talking about big name players.
Yeah, I'm talking
Women's
about
soccer team, Messi.
We love our team here. We love the St. Louis
Ronaldo,
City
yes.
Pink 11.
See, this is the
Hey,
problem
let's
again
go
with
see
the
Berkey and
MLS.
Stroud.
One notable player, and look at the drool fest by every single soccer player. Like it's
Notable is different than one of the best of all
one of the
time.
best of all time, but he's on. It's one player on one team in a 29-team league. Is my thing. Yes, you may when Messi comes to town get your 40, 50,000 in Busch. But when it's Cincinnati, Houston, you're not going to get those type of crowds for players you don't know.
Isn't that kind of understandable?
Yes, that's why the MLS doesn't really have a great business model because they should be spending PIF money to get these players in the
PIF
prime
money.
there, as
How are
opposed
they going to get
to
their hands on PIF money?
as opposed to getting the great grandpas of the world like the Beckhams and the Ibrahimoviches at the latter stages of their career just for ticket sales.
Right.
They care more about ticket sales and money than they do about product on the field, but I get that sometimes you have no choice in the matter. You kind of have to have that.
I do believe when Beckham joined LA Galaxy, he was still pretty good. He was still played well for a few years.
It was. So, I mean, they all dominate because the competition is, comparatively to Europe, lackluster. Like, Plaza, you're looking through the lens because every other American sport is the premier league
That
in
is
the
true.
world. The MLS is maybe 7th or 8th, and that might be generous. So,
Are we above or below second Bundesliga?
probably at the level.
Yeah,
Of second Bundesliga.
I heard
Oh.
I heard MLS and the Turkish league is comparable. I don't know if that's accurate, but I don't know what the Turkish league is. But they said that's about what the level is.
I'm
That
seeing
guy-
that Messi won't be available until July 21st. The Dogs will not see him.
That
I guess
surprises
by
me
week.
because the summer transfer window for the French league is June 10th. Maybe the U.S. transfer is different.
So he can't play till July 31st, or he's got to be done by
July
then?
21st is when he can play.
Yeah, because July 1st is when the international transfer window opens for America. Rats.
That's a bad beat.
Yeah,
So we could see him in the playoffs then, right?
theoretically.
Playoffs?
Playoffs? We just like to win a game.
I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know what the structure is, but I think 16.
First
teams.
place in the West.
9,
First
4, and
place?
1, right?
Yeah, they're killing it.
How many teams do make the playoffs in this?
Several.
Like half of each league?
I don't think half.
Producer Joe is listing.
Yeah, we don't know soccer, so you go
he's
ahead, Mr.
pissed.
Soccer.
He is so pissed right now.
Oh, he's-
I know it.
So
Hovering above his desk.
Bush we go. Yeah.
Asking that stupid effer what the largest attended event at Bush 3 is. Pardon, now it's the second largest attended event in the stadium's history. That's from producer Joe.
Counting
What,
Crows?
soccer games?
Do you even listen to the show?
Was it Counting Crows?
I was talking about this team, STL City. I said they wouldn't draw 22,000 at Bush, and you're like, hey, what about when Ronaldo was here? What about when his team is here?
Why does Joe sound like Edward G.
I
Robinson?
don't know.
And
Chicago's
Ned.
my town.
I said
see?
they draw, but this team wouldn't.
I think this team would draw
What is it
more.
hard to understand for you, dumbass?
I
Not
think-
you, Doug,
I
or
think Joe.
whatever his name is, Prud.
Sauerbrot.
Joe.
Messi.
I think
Sauerbrot.
I think St. Louis City would draw just as much as the women's national team in an exhibition. I think they would. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I think they would.
Well, it's just my opinion. I don't know what Joe's talking about. Second highest.
He's talking about they did draw big crowds
Yes,
for soccer
they
games.
did for those things. They also drew 40,000 for Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I think.
You
Yeah,
gonna compare that to Guns N' Roses, not hoses. You gonna compare that to soccer?
Iggy's
a lot of
making
things will outdraw other places.
Iggy's making a great point. This is like, will the Cardinals sell out if they play Vianney High School as compared to playing an All-Star game at Busch Stadium? Like, of course, when you see the top players in the world, it's going to sell out. Not the stragglers that are barely hanging on that are probably Ubering part-time.
Oh,
sorry, MLS.
Gosh.
But that's just where we're at.
Yes, if you put Ronaldo on this team and you played at Busch, it'd sell out. If you, a 16-year-old high school kid, no.
Producer Joe says Man City, Chelsea, in a stupid friendly in 2013, 48,263
Joe
people.
is missing the point completely.
Yeah, he
You're
is,
talking
he
about
is.
top EPL players and top EPL teams in the world. I just don't know.
But it was
what the-
also a game where we had no rooting interest in.
You're talking
And
about
it
the
was just an
Houston
exhibition.
Dynamo. You're talking about like LA Galaxy.
Versus St. Louis, the St. Louis team.
We have no rooting interest in an All-Star game either, but it's sold out Busch Stadium.
Well, we did have a rooting interest. The Cardinal players that were there and maybe the National League team.
Yeah, you weren't there to see them. You were there to see other players.
Didn't Rascal Flatts sell out Busch?
Joe loves
I think that
Rascal
would
Flatts.
sell. I think that says a lot about St. Louis right there. Like
Not
it's
that we
gonna
like
sell.
music?
No, that just anything that happens
I
is
think
a
they
big
sang
deal.
the national anthem
Oh,
before
okay.
World Series Game 4, Doug, and unfortunately, the Cardinals have not won a World Series game since they performed.
But I think
that
the real
could be what you said there, Plowsy. Anything that happens is a big deal. It kind of is.
It is.
We support things. We don't have a whole lot else.
Yeah.
So when we get a good sporting event or a good concert, people show up in big numbers.
Now, one thing where the venue wouldn't matter is the Counting Crows would sell 1,000 tickets at Pageant. They'd probably sell 1,000 tickets at Busch.
Ooh, they're taking shots.
Is that a shot at Joe because he liked Counting Crows?
Pretty much, yeah.
Didn't he say they burnt Detroit down? Weren't they playing in Detroit or went that like Blacksburg?
And they burned it down.
Well,
I
a lot
think
of things
people.
get burned.
I think people have come to really love the St. Louis City soccer team.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that would love to go to the game, but can't for whatever reason.
40 plus thousand on a waiting list for season tickets.
I think they
Really?
could, I think they
Yes.
do really well at Busch Stadium.
Taylor Twellman got people going yesterday when he was with us on 101 ESPN. Jackson, I'm paraphrasing here, but he went off on the Cardinals and he said people would much rather go to City Park to watch a game because the atmosphere is a hell of a lot better and the Cardinals suck. And some people loved that he said it, and then plenty of people were texting in furious that he said it. But he said, if I would have said that a few years ago, people would have thought I was crazy. I would have been lit up. But now that you see the atmosphere, you go there, and you got that atmosphere, plus you have a first-place team.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's different. It's something we haven't had. It's different. There's a newness factor there. But you can have both. You can have the laid-back Cardinal atmosphere that people love, and you can have the more high-intensity atmosphere of St. Louis City soccer and love that, too.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Cardinals are outdrawing St. Louis City, so I don't know what
Well,
the
the
point
stadium's
was.
twice the size. It's got something to do with it. And they've been around for more than 100 years, so
Yeah,
there's a
but what
rich
was his
history
point?
there. We got a whole city that loves the Cardinals and have for a long, long time.
Again, I agree. So I don't understand what Taylor Twelm was talking about.
He's talking about how the soccer team has really captured the fancy of the public, and they're playing well, and there's high intensity there, and it's entertaining, and the Cardinals are struggling right now and not so entertaining.
But people are still going.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe SCL City would draw 4,000 if they had giveaways. Maybe have a Berkey bobblehead day.
I don't think they'd even have to do that.
Yeah, what about giveaways that you're...
You don't have to give something away every time. The Cardinals have so many games that they have to really work the marketing to make sure they try to fill up that stadium. When you've got 15 games as opposed to 81, the soccer team doesn't have to work quite as hard.
Like Saturday, you better get there about 3 in the morning because they're giving away Pools jerseys, so they'll be gone.
Oh. And you'd like to have one.
I'm sure I'll get one.
What, a kit? You already got a kit.
No, Pools jersey at Busch Stadium Saturday. That's the giveaway.
Oh, I ain't
Sunday is they're taking a cue from the Rams, trying
2XL
to
jersey.
trying to get a lot of people from London to come over here. They got the Adam Wainwright London bobblehead.
Oh, nice.
Well, they're playing the Cubs over there this year, too.
They're playing Cincinnati this weekend.
No, but they're playing the Cubs in London at some point this
Yeah,
year.
but they're having an Adam Wainwright London bobblehead.
I am curious that what is talked about more throughout the year with the organization. Is it giveaways or is it roster construction?
Oh, giveaways, without a doubt.
I think it is giveaways. I think they spend more time
They put a lot of
focusing
thought
on what
into
they can
those, yeah.
shove their fans than.
Because they're kind of running out of things, you know.
They're
when you start
spending
giving-
$160 million on giveaways.
Those aren't the baseball operations guys. Those are the marketing guys. It's two different.
Yeah, but the marketing guys spend more time on the giveaways than the front office does on making trades and signing people.
The marketing guys are supposed to come up with reasons to market the team and put people in the seats.
I
That's
know,
their job.
but they're running out of things to give away.
Yeah, they
I mean, when they came up with the Whitey Herzog fishing bobblehead, they kind of...
Oh, they absolutely are just creating.
I swear
things
I've been
out of
to
nowhere.
3 different games where I got a Yadier Molina Yeti. I have. This might be one of them right here. They're still using his name.
We're using our Yadier Molina dog bowls, and we still use them today.
Doug, producer Joe is still listening to the show this morning, and he says you have to realize how big of a moron you work with each day. It's perplexing, and that doesn't even count the take artist. That's from Prod Joe.
Well, you shouldn't go off on people you work with, Joe. We don't know them.
The take artist is kind of a nice.
Is that you, Plowsy? Are you the take artist?
You want to be
guess
known as
I'm
the take artist? You can change your name on Twitter.
I guess I'm just.
How about take artiste?
Yeah, I like very sensual.
Guys, this is the best Pepper and Genie episode in a while. That's from Minute Poll Eligible. This is the dumbest conversation ever. That's from the 304. So, Doug, polarizing opinions on the hour.
I know.
Well, if it's a done conversation, it'd be perfect for Pepper.
I'm going to say, those are hand in hand.
I just think you're underselling the interest of the soccer team right now.
I'm not. My God, they sell out every game.
Right.
But I'm also saying that a lot of these people that go, I would go just for the atmosphere. I wouldn't care about the soccer game.
You don't care if these doggies keep winning?
No, I like them to win, but it doesn't bother me if they lose.
Well, if the Cardinals lose, does it bother you?
I wish the Cardinals would lose every game. I wish they'd lose the next 5 and Ali Mamar's gone.
The atmosphere is good, but I don't know that it's better than a Blues game or better than any football game you go to.
I'm not comparing it to that. The Blues sell out too.
Yeah, usually. And a lot of it's because the atmosphere is so good.
Well, it's because it's an exciting game. Soccer's not that exciting.
Yeah, and they've got
It's kinda
the music
boring
going
for
all the time. And
85 minutes of the game.
But it never stops. That's what
Well,
makes it
no,
exciting.
I mean, yeah, you got to run up there. At least try to run up there.
Huh?
Run up
I mean,
where?
yeah,
Who's
well-
running up there? The players are running up there?
The players going back and forth is the most grueling sport you can play is soccer because you never stop.
I don't know about
that.
Cardiovascular.
90 minutes of running up and down the field, at least if you try to run. I mean, I'm sure the MSL or MLS is just kind of half-assing it sometimes. You get them. I'm not going back there.
Look, it's all about the fake. It's all about the fake injury. That's why I realize they do run, but look at all the downtime they have for a guy who sprains his toe or gets like
That's how
hit
they
with
rest.
a fly
That's
by
why
an
they do
ear.
it. Because they're exhausted. They run like 10 miles.
Well, if you can't notice that and change the rule to where subs can go back in after being subbed out, you're not going to
free substitution solves it all.
I would rather see
free subs.
Yes, you could.
I would rather see that than
Yes, you can.
flop. Wouldn't you rather see that than flopping, Doug?
Yes,
Like
and
much
I'd rather see fresh players going as hard as they possibly can than guys who can't because they're tired, so I'm going to fake an injury.
That's like in
It makes
hockey.
no
it's like
sense.
the line change. You're done. First line. You want to change?
You're out. Yeah.
Never going to play
We'd
again
rather
today.
these guys skate half speed and fake injuries the rest of the game than put fresh legs out there and play
The
hard.
only sport that actually says you pretty much need to fall and fake an injury so you can catch your breath. That's not a sport.
If you have free subs, then small clubs would never have a chance against big clubs.
That's why they
part
bring
of the
the
strategy. It's
Don't
part
be
of
a
the
small
strategy.
club then.
Well, then the Saudi Arabians will own all of soccer.
Oh, they will not. That's a big stretch. That's a stretch to say if you have free
league.
substitutions, Saudi Arabia will own soccer.
I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
buy it.
You
I like the
can't.
take.
They will. Underdogs will never have a chance against teams if they have free substitutions.
Why?
Because that's how you strategize. That's how you play. You got to get their best players out. Otherwise, guys can play until they're 45 years old.
Wow, how would that be bad?
It just wouldn't work. You
It
can't
wouldn't
have
work.
free substitutions.
I don't wanna
It's
watch-
part of the strategy of the game.
I'd rather
Then
watch.
Let's get rid of traveling.
I would much rather watch high-intensity soccer where everybody's going close to 100% than a cross-country meet. I don't care that they can run 10 miles. I'm impressed by it, but it doesn't make for that interesting of a sport. I'd much rather see fresh legs in
And
there,
you just-
guys going as fast as they can.
You disagree with me. It's not an interesting sport, but people go for the pageantry.
Pageantry.
Well, a lot of soccer purists go strictly for the sport.
Yeah, if you're a soccer purist, but I guarantee the majority of the people going is because they want to be there. Not that.
I
Is
don't
that
know
an
about
offside? Is
I
that
don't
an
know about
offside? Is that a
either.
penalty kick? Is it what is that? They don't know.
There's a whole world of people who love soccer. They love it more than we do, but I can appreciate that.
whole world of people,
Just because
yes.
it's not my favorite sport doesn't mean that there's not a lot of other people that it is.
Yeah, there's not a lot of prod Joes in the world that
There's way too many
drink, and
prod
bet
Joes
soccer.
in this city.
Yeah, it's 2.5 going over.
There he is again, Edward G. Robinson.
Chicago's my town, see?
Let's see. Tim Burkhardt, Doug, he handles the media buy for Milagro Tequila, says, yeah, I'm going to need a make good for today's episode. This is Pepper and Genie, and I didn't buy it. That's from Tim Burkhardt. He is out, Doug.
Nobody said
I'll wear my Milagro sweatshirt tomorrow.
There's the make good, Tim.
Your make good.
There's our counter proposal. If you're injured in an accident, things can spiral out of control quickly. You might have medical bills piling up. You might not be able to work or provide for your family, and you're probably getting the runaround from the insurance company you've been talking to. Do not fight this fight alone. CD Longo and Doug Biggs of the Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm will take all the complication and hassle out of your injury claim. They will deal with the insurance company and take the fight head on, allowing you to get back to what's important, which is recovering from your injuries. In injury cases, there can be a lot of money on the line, and you shouldn't just trust your case with anyone. Go online at LongoBiggs.com. That's Longo Biggs Injury Law, which accepts personal injury, wrongful death, brain injury, and other catastrophic injuries. You're going to get personal attention from Doug or CD. They're going to personally handle your case. They're not a big out-of-town corporation. They live here in St. Louis, so they care about their reputation and making sure that you are taken care of. It's LongoBiggs.com, LongoBiggs.com. Remember, the choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements, a.k.a. adverts.
Sound like a song. L-O-N-G-O, 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 and Longo was his name.
Very nice little catchphrase.
Yeah, Doug, how do you like that for jingles? You're in the jingle business.
I don't mind it.
There is a song like that, though.
B-I-N-G-O.
That another make
Old
good.
MacDonald.
Is that it?
B-I-N-G-O,
Da.
B-I-N-G-O,
Ba.
B-I-N-G-O.
And Longo, what's his name?
Hey.
Ba.
Name-O. Gotta rhyme it.
Sick.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go, Doug.
It's been a hell of a morning for you, Ken.
off. 2023 Kawasaki jet skis are now on clearance starting at $89.99 at Big St. Charles Motorsports. That's right. New 2023 Kawasaki STX 160s are now only $89.99 down from an MSRP of $11,399. Don't miss out on a savings of $2,400. Class-leading acceleration and advanced electronics. Come see us at Big St. Charles Motorsports today in St. Charles, Missouri. 2023 clearance Kawasaki inventory is limited here at Big St. Charles, so don't miss out. The price does not include manufacturer surcharge. Add $400 for cash purchase. Offer subject to change without notice. Some restrictions may apply. See salesperson for details. It's Big St. Charles Motorsports, located on I-70 at Cave Springs. Big St. Charles Motorsports.com. And while you want to, you can think about it.
I think that's why a lot of people don't like me, is because I got paid just to sit here and throw out this drivel I did today.
Oh, who wouldn't like you?
Yeah, a few people.
Who are they?
I don't know.
The jealous people.
The jealous people, Doug.
Jealous of your
Yeah, like a
wealth
group?
or lifestyle?
No, not jealous of my wealth, because I don't have wealth. I think just jealous because I come in here and kind of make a fool of myself for 3 hours and do it for a living. And then I get the rest of the day to go play golf.
What are you going to go? Are you going to get work done today?
Go to the pool.
You going to the pool today?
I may. It was
Nice.
closed Monday. I wasn't there yesterday. I had to finish up my laundry. I had my niece do half of it. I did the other half.
You brought her in to handle some of it?
No, I did the second half myself. But
Did you buy your own laundry detergent or you steal that?
yeah, there was nobody there I could steal from, so I had to buy it. And they raised the price of the Tide.
Tide is High, Blondie, 1980.
I don't know the
81.
years, Tim. What's Tide cost
Debbie
now?
Harry, and her real name was Angela Trimble, born in Miami.
Is that right?
Yeah, they changed that name too.
Angela Trimble?
I would have changed it to Blondie.
She changed it to Debbie Harry.
The Tide is High came out in 1980.
1980, Doug.
I don't know. I finished Blacklist yesterday, finally. But now there's a season 10 going on now. So I finished season 9. I got to wait till 10 is over on NBC, and they put it on Netflix.
Okay.
So I started watching. I want to watch the final season, but what I always do is when it takes so long for the final season to come about, I forget what happened. So I went back to season 1 of
Start over
Succession
again.
and started watching it. So it's such a great show. I don't mind. So
That's part of what's so good about getting older. You should forget everything. You just watch the TV show.
I mean, I
again.
could
It
watch
seems
the
new
last.
again.
I could watch the last season, but I said, "Oh, what happened to the season before? Why are they getting this?" So I just went to season 1.
So you're going to watch 39 straight episodes of Succession?
Well, I just watched, was it 8 seasons of 22? I just watched 176 episodes of Blacklist.
God.
So,
How long did that take you?
a couple days.
Oh, just sitting there on a couch for a couple days?
No.
This is
you
why
think a
people
couple
are
days?
jealous of you.
Do the math. 176 hours in 2 days. That doesn't kind of work. It'll probably take me 5 weeks.
5 straight weeks of watching television almost all day?
Not all day.
Well, hours though, right?
Well, yeah. If you're gonna finish 9 seasons of 22 episodes each.
So on average a day, how many episodes do you think?
I don't know. I do other things. I mean, I go outside for a bit. I go hit
Just
some
wander
golf
out there to
balls.
smoke.
I got to do the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today.
Oh.
We'll carry this over tomorrow.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. And Jackson, what are we giving away to the winner today?
2 tickets to an advanced screening of The Flash, Monday, June 12th at the Alamo City Draft House.
Giveaway, schmiveaway. You know how to get big crowds, start winning. And there is no bigger winner in St. Louis than Timothy Michael McKernan. Put him on any team and you got yourself a sellout. Soccer, baseball, cricket, pickleball, it doesn't matter. But this email is about love, and I'm in love with Doug Vaughn.
No.
Yeah, I know it's kind of strange. Every time I'm near you, I just run out of things to say. I know you understand. Every time I tried to tell you, the words just came out wrong. So I have to say I love you by writing it on my dong. That's from Ben, and then he has a middle name of Eden and then a last name of Az.
Ben Eden Ace.
Is that a brown gefilte fish loaf that my wife's father squeezed into his XL overnight dry Depends? Or is he experiencing an ulcerative colitis flare-up? It crowned and made its presence known to me as it attacked my nostrils, and my nubbin began to swell with lust. Shall I have a tasting straight from this source? I grabbed my fries from atop the tank lid, dipped them in the subsequent broth that his hashtag seeped out of his undies, and had a little soft-serve dip-ins. Think about it, Doug. That's from Doty's golf move.
Doty's golf move. He's new.
Does he have a nice move?
I don't know.
I've never seen him play
I haven't
golf.
seen him play. He's the engineer here.
Club out there.
Yeah.
Good morning. It is with great pleasure I am announcing that I have started a new golf league called the Licks Tour. We will entice players to join the TLT through blood money. A strategic investment from our enemies. Our good friends North Korea. And we look forward to lining our pockets. Growing the game of golf. If we then have to sue NUCO on antitrust grounds, form a strategic partnership with them, then so be it. What's most important here, though, is that we are lining our pockets. Growing the game of golf. Thank you. That comes from Mr. Lick. So he's forming
not a bad little email, Mr. Lick.
Wasn't good.
Not a bad little email.
Hello, I'm hoping to meet an aging HD2 radio personality who dresses entirely in salmon-colored clothes. Hopefully this fella is the kind of guy that wanders in and out of studio unannounced so he can take pictures of fountains. You know, the kind of guy that abandons his current responsibilities, breathing heavily into a microphone so he can step out to call his former boss that he hates more than anything on this planet. I want to meet a man who hits reply all as a major look-at-me move. If you want to see the biggest crowd in the history of Busch Stadium, put the NIT Final Four on the infield, and that place will be packed. Once again, I'm enjoying the show. That's from world-famous soccer star Becky Sauerbraten.
Becky Sauerbraten.
Sandy Hawkins, Doug. The Cardinals continue their tailspin. The PGA Tour is getting in bed with the Saudis. Lionel Messi is rumored to be coming to MLS, but I think the lead is Iggy struggling to understand a poll about college graduates regretting their majors. Iggy guarantees that, quote, 87% of our listeners didn't go to journalism school. Thanks for that history lesson, Columbo. The pregnant pause following Iggy's statement that, quote, those numbers don't add up, shouldn't there only be 13% left to vote, was reminiscent of the pause following his mentioning of Pitbull during the SGO Kai interview. The Cardinals are 12 games under 500 and on pace to win 65 games, yet the front office seems in no hurry to admit it was a mistake to hire a guy in his mid-30s who never played in the show to manage a roster full of talented millionaires. On the plus side, we can all get together a week from today, get lit up on the Henny at Salt and Smoke, then walk across the street and enjoy the Busman Special. Former Cubs manager Leo Elia once famously ripped the home fans who attend day baseball when he said 85% of the world is work and the other 15% come here. It's a playground for the CSers.
Oh.
Come for the mediocre, underachieving club. Stay to watch a bunch of unhappily married men get sloppy with their side pieces. You want to talk about golf? Never mind the geopolitical ramifications. The PGA Tour taking billions from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. Let's talk about how in Saudi Arabia they wiped their ass with their left hand and how everyone who's wiped their butt with their hand had a finger slip. Thanks, Buck Swope.
Okay. Nice little email, Buck.
And that's what we have for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day.
Well, there's a couple good ones. I'm going to go for Mr. Lex.
Wow.
I thought it was a pretty good email.
I'm going to go with, I don't know if it's tunnels, but I think he went with Doty's golf swing.
I go with Doty's golf moves.
Yes, Nana Lucas.
Well, Huck, where were you voted?
Golf moves.
Probably would have went with Buck Swope.
Oh, would you?
Jackson, where would you go?
DGM.
Doty's golf move.
Yeah, anytime you can talk brown gefilte fish loaf.
That's bad. That's vile stuff.
Sign me up.
I mean, if your gefilte fish is brown, you got a problem.
If you're eating gefilte.
You need it nice and white.
What color is gefilte fish?
Gray. Looks like a piece of deodorant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bill. Peak.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Opaque.
Isn't it just terrible?
Maybe that's the segment.
Or is it opaque?
Opaque.
Opaque.
Like the scallops that are tonight. I know they're done when they become opaque.
How much meat do you eat that's see-through?
Cut that off.
How much meat do I eat? The seafood?
Yeah.
See-through.
Jellyfish?
See-through.
You eat jellyfish? That's kind of a see-through fish.
I don't eat jelly. You can't eat jellyfish.
Well, yeah, I suppose you could.
Why? It's all air and tentacles.
But you could still eat it. You could eat just about anything.
Eat my air.
It'd be horrible, but I suppose you could eat it.
No. Octopus, yes.
I don't want to
jellyfish,
eat an octopus.
no.
No. Okay. I'm not saying you should eat jellyfish. I'm saying it's
I don't think you
possible.
can eat a jellyfish.
It's possible.
There's nothing to it.
I know, but...
There's no meat there.
No, but you can still eat it. It's something there.
Almighty.
I'm not saying you would want to. I'm saying it's physically possible.
Can you eat Tim's computer?
Cut that off.
Where are we at right
Why?
now? I
couldn't unhinge my jaws to get around the computer.
Mm.
To get around the laptop.
You know, you've really been kind of dumb today.
Talking about eating...
I'm just saying if it's any kind of a little fish, it is possible to eat it. You wouldn't want to. It might kill you, but it would be possible. Other fish eat
All right,
jellyfish.
you got a point. Yeah, you can eat that if you want. You will get sick, but you can eat it if you
Yes.
What a topic.
I think we should have just
There's a dead
explored
carp
this
at
much
Cree Coeur
earlier.
Lake that's been sitting in there for like 4 weeks.
Possible to eat
You
it.
can eat it, yeah.
Yeah.
You won't feel so good, but you can eat it.
Right.
All right.
That's my point.
Ooh, apparently Randy got scolded by Adam Wainwright on Wednesdays with Wayno.
Randy Character?
I just opened up the 101 text inbox. Thing I never thought I'd hear. Randy Character getting scolded by Adam Wainwright. That's at the top of the text inbox. Jackson, we got to find that audio.
Randy must have said they've been playing good baseball.
It'll probably be a joke.
Think so? Lisa, who Jackson, you decided to call her what?
A gem.
Yeah, she texted in, I love Wayno.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is also the problem. You put players on a pedestal like that, and they can't do anything wrong, nor the team. Like, what's Randy going to say? Oh, the team playing great. They're only lasted in the NL.
That's a big pickup
take to go.
It's a big pickup to have Wayno on every Wednesday.
It is, absolutely.
Especially get
Great
scolded.
interview.
Big
But
league
he does see things through, rose-colored glasses, no question. Either way, that's coming up. Just flip on over to 101 ESPN. Jackson and I are going to go deal with the situation down there. Doug, it's called Balloon Party, presented by Munganess, St. Louis Acura. Time for us to wrap this one up. It's presented by Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. It's TMA from the Michelob Ultra Studios for the Plowhawk, for Action Jackson, for Kenneth Easterwood, for my brother Kevin, for Douglas Elvin Vaughn. I'm Tim McCartan. This has been Ryan Kelly, Morning After.